My name's Kirby. I'm here with Connor, and we're going to be doing some new War of the Spark, Standard. Yep. Alrighty. So, our matchups for tonight. We have a lot of black and red.
Lots, yeah. Almost every deck list on the ticket for tonight.
Okay. We're going to be starting off with Nathaniel on Grixis Midrange versus Sebastian on Boros Heroic. So let's start off with Nathaniel's deck list here.
All right.
So he's doing a Grixis Midrange. We kind of have just a bunch of nice spot removal. We got new Nicol Bolas Dragon God on the screen, mix of the old Nicol Bolas as well, and some Thief of Sanities for the creature suite.
As always, yeah.
And just a bunch of removal. And we also see Dreadhorde Invasion, the new Bitter Blossom-esque card. That should be interesting to try out.
That one is upkeep, lose a life, make an army. Or amass one.
Mm-hmm.
So if you don't have one, you'll create a new one.
Yes. So I'm very curious to see how that's going to go.
I'm a fan of the card. I think for the style of deck he's playing, I think it's actually really good. Mm-hmm. Just because, like you said, it's almost Bitter Blossom-esque in that it's an early card. It gives you a body on the field, so you have something against like the earlier aggro decks.
Mm-hmm.
And like they don't want to burn removal spells on it because it's like, well, if I kill it, they just get another one next turn.
Yeah. Oh, and we also have some Augur Boluses hiding up there to be able to grab like a ton of the removal that he has in the main deck. So
it only grabs instant sorcery, correct?
Correct.
So.
And then we also have one last Liliana Dreadhorde General just to curve out the top, which is a very powerful card if you can get to 6 mana.
Yes.
Being able to just create non-stop zombies, force your opponent to sacrifice any creatures if you're playing like a mid-rangey style deck. And if your zombies get sacked to your ability, you get to draw cards off of it.
Yep.
So, yeah, pretty much just a very removal-heavy mid-range style deck. So let's head on over to Sebastian's deck list, which we're calling Boros Heroic. The main reason for that is like some of the creatures in this deck have heroic triggers, though it doesn't necessarily have the ability word heroic in it.
Correct.
The big ones being 10th District Legionnaire, which has haste 2/2. Whenever you cast a spell, it targets it. You put a +1/+1 counter on it, and you get to scry one, which is really sweet.
It's just a better battle-wise hoplite.
Yeah.
It just gets haste.
And he also has Feather, which whenever you cast an instant sorcery that targets any creature you control, you get that card back to your hand at end of turn, assuming it resolves.
Right.
Outside of that, just very aggressive style deck. He just wants to kill his opponent as fast as possible. He has a few different combat tricks where like he can basically give +2/+2 to his Swiftblade Vindicator, for instance. And one that I do find very amusing is Dreadhorde Arcanist, which is going to allow him to cast a few spells from his graveyard, depending on what its power is. So, for instance, basically just get a free draw card off Divine Strike.
Yep.
Or you can go ahead and pump it ahead of time, and
you can maybe get an intervention if you can get it up to 4, but it doesn't. Yeah. It doesn't. Sorry, you have to get up to 5, and then you choose one because it looks at the CMC of the card.
Yeah, and then you get to choose one of the halves. So
that one's probably not happening.
But everything else, all the other instant sorceries are just a single mana.
Yep.
So, but yeah, just very aggressive style deck with combat tricks. Hopefully doesn't get blown out by
the butt ton of removal.
Yeah, all the removal that Nathaniel has. But we'll kind of see how it goes.
Yep.
So let's head on down. We'll let these guys know that we're ready to go.
Bottom right.
Bottom right, thank you.
Yep.
You guys are ready? You're good to go. All right. So what cards are you excited to see tonight?
So I have a personal interest in wanting to play Like, I chose the deck I did because of Dreadhorde Butcher.
Mm-hmm.
The 2-mana 1/1 that when it deals damage to a player, put a counter on it. When it dies, deal damage to, I think it's any target. Yep, deals its power to any target. It also has haste, which is very good for these aggressive decks. And then for my deck, I just kind of built around that. So I'm playing an Aristocrat.
All right.
All right.
We won't be able to use previews tonight.
You saw a sneak peek.
No, I didn't transition it over.
A partial.
But yeah, it looks like the images that are still in Scryfall
are too large.
Too large.
You can pull it from the deck list still too.
Oh yeah.
It should be on there. I am the middle one.
Thank you. Yeah, let's see if that works a little bit better.
Yeah, because this is how we were doing it before.
Okay.
Yes.
All right. Well, they've just gotten started. We'll bring that up a little bit later.
Yep.
All right. So we're off to the races. Sebastian is on the play, which is definitely going to behoove him.
Swiftblade Vindicator.
Got a Swiftblade Vindicator. So depending on if Nathaniel has any type of removal spell here, could get out of hand pretty fast.
Yeah.
So I think Nathaniel knows that he more or less has to kill everything all on site. He's going to go ahead and Thought Erasure, so that'll give him a nice peek at Sebastian's hand to see what he's going to have to deal with.
It's a pretty solid hand on Sebastian's side.
So
3 pump spells, the guy who flashes back, and
that isn't a pump spell.
It's not?
The two
it's Reckless Rage?
No, that's Reckless Rage.
What does that one do?
So let's go ahead and bring it up, assuming it does it correctly for us this time. Yep. So Reckless Rage deals 4 damage to target creature you don't control and 2 damage to target creature you do control. So that basically gives you a continuous removal spell if you have Feather out.
Got you.
It's
Which
not,
against this deck actually could play, because there's Thieves and also the Nicol Bolas.
Mm-hmm.
So there's some targets.
Yeah. It's also fine for 10th District Legionnaire because it becomes a 3/3 in response to you targeting it.
That's fair.
All right. So Sebastian's going to start off with a Somewhat Spirit to go ahead and give his guy +2/+1 and gets a Scry 1.
He also fired off his Defiant Strike as well.
And Defiant Strike, so that's
8.
going to be swinging in for 8. Nathaniel is down to 12. And
the rest of Sebastian's hand is relying on him getting down the Arcanist. So if that gets ripped from his hand or dies on the next turn, he's kind of out of gas.
Yeah, Reckless Rage also works really well with Arcanist too, because it's 3 toughness.
That's true.
All right.
Unfortunately, not with the creature that's in play, though.
Nathaniel's going to do Discovery Dispersal to dig a little deeper and hopefully find a removal spell. So we'll see how that goes for him. And Sebastian is debating what he would like to do next. If I were him, I think putting down Dreadhorde is the correct move. That way you're going to be able to target your Legionnaire on the following turn.
Yes. And I believe his pickup for turn was another copy of the Legionnaire.
Yes. All right, back over to Nathaniel.
So he did pick up a removal spell. He's got a Bedevil.
All right.
And a Nicol Bolas. The J Spellbook Negate? I assume that's what that card is.
All right, so Bedevil on Arcanist. Make sure that Sebastian doesn't get some free spells from his graveyard.
Yep.
All right. So it's not looking too great for Sebastian at the moment. He's going to be able to swing in for a total of 4. Putting Nathaniel down to 6. And we're going to pass back over to Nathaniel. Like, a Cry of the Carnarium right now would more or less put Sebastian out of this game.
Yeah, because the Reckless Rage has to have a target you control and a target you don't, correct?
That's correct.
So he can't use it on both of his guys.
So he would actually like Nathaniel to go ahead and play Nicol Bolas here.
Yes.
That way he can go ahead and target his Legionnaire, put a counter on it, and get rid of the Nicol Bolas.
Yep.
So we'll see what Nathaniel ends up doing here. He does decide to cast his Nicol Bolas.
Yep.
Sebastian's going to decide which Reckless Rage he wants to discard here.
I'll go off and Fire Zone, targeting Legionnaire and Nicol Bolas, getting a counter and a Scry. Which...
I think you forgot to scry.
I think he did too.
Nathaniel is now down to 1.
Yep.
All right. So Nathaniel
Scoops.
does not have an out here, and he scoops it up.
Fairly quick. I'm not sure if maybe just Nathaniel kept a hand that was a little too heavy on lands, because he did put one in the graveyard when he cast Discovery.
Yeah, it definitely looked like he was still digging for an actual answer.
Mm-hmm.
We're going to go ahead and transition over to Nathaniel's deck and take a look at his sideboard. What are you liking here?
Remind me what Narset does again before I say anything.
Let's
Just
go
pull
ahead
it up,
and
new
bring
cards.
it up. All right. So the new Narset, I don't believe this is a card you want for this one. No.
No.
This is more for one of the control matchups where she makes it so your opponent can only draw one card each turn and also allows you to dig for a non-creature, non-land.
Mm-hmm.
Cards that come in, definitely a Cry of the Carnarium
Yes.
is very necessary.
I don't know about Duress.
Yeah, I'm also a little iffy about Duress here. It probably depends on what you would want to take out in this matchup. If we go ahead and take a look, the Liliana doesn't look very good in this matchup.
No.
Dreadhorde Invasion does provide a chump blocker every turn at the cost of a life, which might be good. I don't remember if Sebastian has anything that provides trample.
The Swiftblade Vindicator has trample on itself.
Okay.
And then he has evasion with his angels.
Okay. So, like, maybe Duress over Negate. I don't like Negate so much here. I like Duress to go ahead and pull out the combat trick.
Aurelia also gives trample, doesn't she?
Aurelia,
if it's a red creature.
If it is a red creature, Aurelia does give
Yeah.
red.
So I would say Invasion might need to come out.
Yeah. I just don't know that Nathaniel has enough cards to take the place. So if we were going to go ahead, say, take out 2 Negates, take out Liliana and a Dreadhorde Invasion, bring in a Cry of the Carnarium and 3 Duresses, that seems okay. I don't really see a good choice to put in otherwise.
The next card I would actually say is the Narset, just because it does help you dig for removal spells. But even then...
I would lean towards the Eldest Reborn to actually...
exactly.
Since Sebastian doesn't have too many creatures, but it's very slow, like having to get to turn 5 before it does anything.
Yeah.
Okay. So let's switch over to Sebastian's list and see what he brings in. I really like the Experimental Frenzy to be able to go the long game.
It's also a card that Nathaniel's not really going to have a way to get off the board either.
I believe he also has the Mountain to pair with the Experimental Frenzy, just to make sure that you can get to that 4 mana. I don't like the Reckless Rages so much. I could see probably removing 2 of those. The question is, how does Sebastian deal with the Nicol Bolas without it? I could see taking all 3 out, putting in 2 Lava Coils. Excuse me.
I mean, it's hard to say, just because of the fact that Reckless Rage, if Nathaniel has a creature in play, can also benefit with his Legionnaire and his Arcanist fairly well.
Yeah.
The synergy there is very good. I don't necessarily like Lava Coil so much, just because A, it is sorcery speed, and while it does kill all of the creatures, you get no benefit. Like, you're not casting that on any of your own creatures unless, like, you for some reason have a Legionnaire that has more than 5 toughness.
Okay. We do need to figure out, like, what would he take out for Frenzy? I think it would basically just be trimming on some of the pump spells.
Yeah.
Maybe also, let's see. You don't want to trim Defiant Strike. Like,
No.
you'd probably want to trim Integrity or Sprint over it. I like keeping Sheltering Light as basically a
Yeah.
counter to the removal.
It's a turn aside in his deck, which is very solid. I think cutting probably just one rage and then 2 integrity intervention to make room for the 3 frenzies, and then if you need the land, maybe you're right. Maybe trim the second rage and just have the 1. So
Yeah. All right, let's head back on down and see what they all decide to do. You all are good to go.
okay,
All
so
right.
Sebastian's gonna be, or Nathaniel's gonna be on the play. Watergrave. Sebastian's definitely got plenty of lands. He's got, looks like 3, so that casts most of his deck. So he should be fine.
So Nathaniel goes ahead, plays his land, and passes back over.
He's valuing that 2 life over having some kind of action this turn, probably a Thought Erasure.
Yeah, and
That's
I feel
fine.
like that's definitely correct.
In these early games, like it's a turn cycle at that point. So.
Something I did notice is Sebastian is not running any 1-drops in his deck,
Creature-wise, no.
creature-wise.
What would you play if so? Lava Runners? They don't benefit from like the heroic-esque mechanics, but
No, I don't like Lava Runner so much. Let me see. Do, 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 do. Let's bring up a nice list here. I'll actually go by release date.
question.
Yes.
Does Legionnaire say ability, or is it just casting a spell?
Legionnaire
Or recast
spell.
a spell. Okay.
So, yeah, it is literally heroic.
Okay.
Yeah, there's not anything too exciting. Like, you could always do a bodyguard that allows you to
That's what I was looking at,
add
is
some
that
protection.
if it worked off abilities, Bodyguard could have a nice synergy.
Well, that's a replacement effect because it enters the
Yeah.
battlefield with it.
Oh, true. Yeah.
Yeah. You don't want something like Sentry because Ascend isn't very good. Other than that, everything else
Not
is
really a
just
whole
like
lot.
a haster or has some evasion. Like maybe a Hunted Witness because it leaves an extra body. All right. So Sebastian has played his Vindicator, and Nathaniel has played a Nicobolus. So Sebastian did need to discard his Integrity.
And there was a Bedevil on the Legionnaire in response to the Vindicator to get rid of it. So we're down to 1 creature,
All
which
right.
means an Eldest Reborn next turn would be very punishing.
Mm-hmm.
Considering that at this point, I mean, Sebastian does have the ability to get the Vindicator big enough to at least trade with Nicobolus, but I doubt Nathaniel's going to block.
Yeah, I don't believe he's going to block. It looks like Sebastian also has... Oh, he does decide to block. That is...
Well then,
that's
let me tell
surprising.
you about my pump deck. Wait,
So Sebastian's going to Lightning Helix the Nicobolus, and then the first
the
strike
first strike
of
will
the
kill
double
it.
strike
Gotcha.
will kill it.
Good heads up. I didn't catch
Mhm.
that.
All right. Going to pass back over to Nathaniel.
He's got a removal spell ready
Yeah.
in hand if he needs it.
Yeah, and of note, like, he's still at 15,
Yep.
and we're on turn 5.
So yeah, Nathaniel's looking really good in this situation,
Yeah, he's
especially
going
because he can wait for Sebastian to spend a resource before he kills the
Mhm.
creature. So
And Nathaniel's going to dig. And play Carnaria.
that's fair.
All right, back over to Sebastian.
Picks up an Aurelia for turn.
Aurelia is a good follow-up, but I think he
You
wants
want
to go
something
ahead and play
first.
something else first.
If he has a Legionnaire, this would be a very good time to get it in play.
So it looks like he has Feather and Sheltering Light, if I'm seeing that correctly.
That feels way too good then.
That is going to be a very good combo. Because I think we're going to see Nathaniel put out Nicobolus and try to remove this.
Mm-hmm.
Unless he has another removal spell. Ooh.
Yep, this will do it.
Yep.
He doesn't even have to use the second one.
And he does have the mana up for Bedevil the following turn.
Yep.
So,
Importantly, I didn't remember when I was playing a game with Joe before this. It is still double black like Murder. and
Yep.
I didn't realize that until afterwards. Okay, so we picked up
Alright.
Legionnaire,
And
Send it
Sebastian's
in.
going to swing in.
and he did pick up
Experimental Frenzy.
This will be good.
All right.
So do you save it?
I
I kind of like going to save it.
I like
because
saving
if
it.
you're landing the Experimental Frenzy next turn, because he's likely going to tap out to play one of his bigger cards,
Yes.
then it's not stuck in your hand.
Alright.
We got a reader. I actually have not looked at this card.
Okay.
If we could pull
So
it up.
yeah, let's go ahead and pull up Nicol Bolas.
I just
Dragon
know
God.
the static clause.
Yes.
Because at that point, you're going to use other abilities. You're not using his.
Yes. All right. So we'll bring up the Dragon God real quick. Has all loyalty abilities of all other planeswalkers on the battlefield. +1. You draw a card, and each opponent exiles a card from their hand or a permanent they control.
Okay.
-3. You get to destroy a creature or planeswalker. -8. Each opponent who doesn't control a legendary creature or planeswalker loses the game.
Okay.
So
So I think that might be game.
no, I think Sebastian
Actually,
definitely
we're fine.
has.
Because to
The-
the +1, he can just exile the cards that he can't play anymore once he gets Experimental Frenzy on the battlefield.
Correct.
So we have some cushion.
Mm-hmm. I also don't think Nathaniel has an answer to the Experimental Frenzy.
Yep.
All right.
Actually, does the flip Nicol Bolas get rid of like just target permanent in any way?
I don't believe so.
You might have to use Scryfall. So
Yeah.
we'll have the backside. The Ravager, I think. Nope, just creature. Or no, that's Deceiver. Sorry. Creature Planeswalker.
Nope.
Yep. So we're good.
All right.
Didn't find
So,
a
yeah.
land though, so
So Nathaniel's going to empty out Sebastian's hand, even though it doesn't really matter with the Frenzy here.
yep.
And we have Dispersal. Okay, that'll get rid of the Frenzy.
Oh yeah,
and
that's any permanent.
Yeah. I think that's probably game over for Sebastian now.
Yeah.
He's going to have a nice series of draws here.
He didn't play his card, so just gonna go bye-bye. Pump spell. I should have known that. I've actually been playing Discovery Dispersal like on Arena.
Mm-hmm.
Alright, so he did bring in Eldest Reborns.
Yeah, and this is the worst part for Sebastian, where essentially he can just draw a bunch of pump spells and
Yeah.
not be able to do anything because of it.
And we're also at the point where he's gonna start losing his lands to Nicol Bolas.
Yeah. Or just, lose the game.
Not with that Lightning Helix, that 4-mana Lightning Helix. Meanwhile, Nathaniel's got lands for days.
Mm-hmm.
Alright, there we go.
All right, and Sebastian's going to scoop it up, and now we're going to be going on to game number 3. Yeah, one of the biggest issues in a constructed format, whether it be standard, modern, whatnot, is combat tricks just aren't nearly as good in those formats as they are in limited, because your opponent just has hard removal,
Yep.
and a lot of times you get 2 for 1.
Yeah, it's been a while since the days of like the Bant Heroic deck. And even the slide decks from like Theros Standard.
Yeah, and that was a time where, one, they did run a bunch of protection spells,
Yep.
so that their creature could still live, and two, the removal wasn't as good.
No, we basically have Mortify back in Standard, on top of having Murder that hits Planeswalker, 2-mana instant -2/-2, and just like all these good removal suites. So
Yeah,
it's-
like ours would be very terrible right now because you have stuff like Angrath's Rampage, where you just have to completely sack the creature.
Yep. And even the creatures that have hexproof, like the best one is Vinemare, and then aside from that, they're just not very powerful in combat, or they only have hexproof from specific things like the two knights, or like even the new druid only has hexproof when it's untapped.
Mm-hmm.
So you could give it vigilance and play like a pseudo boggles thing, but that's just one card. It's
Yeah.
not really enough to build around.
Depending on Sebastian's draw, though, he can have a very aggressive start that Nathaniel just can't keep up with.
Yeah, much like game one.
Mm-hmm.
Even the start of this game, like he had it going, but that first removal spell just it shows how brittle the deck can be.
Yeah. Of note, this weekend we have the first viewing of the London Mulligan
Oh, that's
at
right.
the Mythic Championship, so that will definitely change some things up too. So we have a lot less non-games.
I was about to be like, "Where's that event?" Like Connor, shut up.
Where are they showcasing the London Mulligan?
What did we do the last time they did a Mulligan rules change? Now we're starting to pay more attention, I think.
And we got some pre-releases this weekend too.
Are you going to be playing Two-Headed Giant mostly, or?
I'm definitely going to be playing 2 flights of Two-Headed Giant Saturday and Sunday, and I think I'll play in one other flight on Saturday.
Yeah,
I'm not doing a whole day Saturday again. 3 in a row is a little rough.
I'm gonna do the 9 a.m. with Cameron, and then if I liked it, I'll probably do a solo flight. But I have to work Sunday, so I can't do that one.
Yeah.
All right, we're getting started.
Alrighty.
Lands and passing. There's a Reckless Rage, so we still have at least one of those left.
Okay. Gonna play a Vindicator. And back over to Nathaniel. Let's see if he has a removal spell.
Likely just a Thought Erasure.
And you can't cast that Thought Erasure right now.
Oh, sorry.
Yeah.
I thought that was a different land underneath. Never mind. Pitch is a second copy, so we're...
Yeah.
Actually, I don't even know if he has a blue source.
Maybe that's what he was digging for.
Yeah.
Well, he did mull down to 6, so...
Yep. When he does find it, he does have an Augur Bolus, which would be really good right now.
Yeah.
But he does have a Bedevil for next turn, which is good.
So, what is Sebastian going to follow up with, is the question.
Just play Feather. Okay.
Yep. And just forces Nathaniel to react.
Yep.
And then Sebastian has the Sheltering Light. If
For the following, yeah.
Yeah. If Nathaniel doesn't get rid of it now. Okay. There's the Bedevil. And back over to Sebastian.
We did find a blue source, though, it looks like. He's got Sulphur Falls.
Okay.
Oh, no, there's Blood Crypt, so it will come in untapped next turn.
Alright. Swing it in for 4. And pass back to Nathaniel. And Sebastian's holding on to double Sheltering Light. Looks like he has another Legionnaire, and he also has an Integrity. So we'll see what happens here. We might see... Yeah, we're going to see the Augur Bolus.
Okay. Whiffs, as it's prone to do.
Ooh.
Sure.
So when I was building my deck, because I'm running 4 Augurs,
Mm-hmm.
I made sure that the spell count is something like 23.
Yeah, you want to be
Instants
over
and
20 for
sorceries.
sure.
Um,
This deck, I think, is like under 10.
yeah, it definitely looked kind of low.
Well, no, not under 10.
Or-
It's definitely not 20, though.
Yeah, it's under 20.
8, 12, 18.
Yep.
18 main board, and
Yeah, so that's,
19 if you sideboard.
that's a
it at the
little
end of
low.
Craig.
So a lot of times it's just going to be a Maritime Guard. All right, let's see how Nathaniel reacts here. Because I think he's probably going to block... Okay, he's going to block there. We got a couple options. He definitely wants to keep the Sheltering Light. But like it's definitely worthwhile to use a pump spell here.
Yeah, I think just using Integrity. He has 2 copies.
I think it is incorrect to use
Both?
the white mana, though. Oh, okay. So he's going to be swinging in for 10 here.
How much is Integrity? Is it 2?
+2/+2.
Okay.
All right. Well, let's see what Nathaniel decides to do. Attempt to cast out.
Gotcha.
And we'll get a Sheltering Light with a Scry.
Leaves it on top. So likely either... Probably just another spell. I don't think he would keep a 4-drop at this point.
All right. Well, let's see what Nathaniel has removal spell-wise. This has a Thief of Sanity to block with. All right. He has +2/+1 and Scry. Keep forgetting the name of that one. Somewhat Sprint. So that should be able to do it. I don't believe Nathaniel's running any shocks. He doesn't really have any 1-mana removal.
Nope. I think that's a slight oversight on this
Okay.
deck.
And he just plays another Legionnaire. That works.
All right.
Alrighty. So, give it a minute. Okay. Next up, we're going to have Nathaniel versus Joe. Joe is on Mardu Burn midrange. We'll get the deck list up in 1 second. But it's mostly a burn deck, and then it also has like this late game stuff thrown in.
It feels like just a worse like prowess deck from Con Standard. It's weird.
Joe basically threw in a bunch of different cards that he really, really wanted to play. So the first one being Burning Prophet. It's a 1/3 for 2 that gets +1/+0 whenever you cast a non-creature spell, plus you get to scry one. He wants to show that that's going to be the real deal.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, worse Monastery Swiftspear. Yeah, got it. I believe in you, Joe.
In addition, he really wanted to play Oath of Kaya, where it just goes in and Lightning Helix is a creature.
Yep. It's an upgraded Oath of Chandra, which is all right.
And
you don't get to pick it back up, though.
Yeah, whenever an opponent attacks a Planeswalker or you with a creature.
Just Planeswalker.
Oh, it's just Planeswalker?
It's just when an opponent attacks a Planeswalker you control. With one or more, it
deals
Thirst.
to the player. Yeah.
Oh, it's to player. Okay.
Yeah,
well, we both misread the card. It's fine. But the first part, being able to hit upstairs if your opponent doesn't have any creatures in play, felt really good.
It is to any target.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah.
Because he got me with that.
Yeah, 3-mana Lightning Helix is still a fine card.
Mm-hmm. Especially just in Standard. We do have better removal cards, but at the same time, the amount of reach we have for just going upstairs does seem a little bit less.
Yeah. He's also playing the new Chandra, which is pretty sweet. Let me bring it up a little bit closer so we can see it. There it is. Okay. So whenever one or more loyalty counters are removed from Chandra, it doesn't matter if a creature hits it or a spell or Chandra's tick down.
The Elder spell.
She deals that much damage to target opponent or Planeswalker. The +1 is basically the top part of Outpost Siege.
Yep.
You exile the top card of your library, and you can play it that turn. You still have to pay costs and everything, but it does allow you to play lands, unlike the Chandra from Kaladesh.
Yes.
That one was good enough, though.
The previous Chandra before that, the other 4-drop one did, though.
Yeah. And then -7, exile the top 7 cards of your library. You can play them this turn. But additionally, that removes 7 counters from her, so she gets to 7 an opponent or Planeswalker.
Yeah, I think that was a slight overlook from a lot of people who read this card, too. It's like,
I can't play all 7 of this card.
7. Well, it's also deal 7 to any target, or your opponent. So
yeah. All right. The other really neat card is Finale of Promise.
I got hit with this one. I had to read it a couple times.
So you can cast up to 1 target instant card and or up to 1 target sorcery card from your graveyard. Each of them have to have CMC less than X, less than or equal to X. You don't have to pay their mana costs, and they get exiled once they're cast. If for any reason, X is 10 or more, you get to copy each of those spells twice. And then choose new targets for it.
So ridiculous. Come on, Joe. Do it.
So, yeah, I don't see him hitting 10 mana.
No, I don't either. I do think this deck has some credit to it. Like that, it does some things that, like say, the heroic deck can't do. Like it can go upstairs while still also like putting threats on the table that they won't kill you as fast on their own, but they present a clock.
All right, so let's head back down. You all are good to start.
Get the title updated.
Yep, let's get that switched over.
There. I didn't realize it was just a drop-down menu.
Yep, this one you'll have to. Mardu Caps. Mardub. Mardub. Whoa, whoa, whoa.
There we go.
Really?
I mean,
All right,
it is. There is a Pyromancer in the deck. We could just leave it.
All right, we got all that updated now. Should be good to go.
We can also
Get that
reset
timer
clock.
reset, and let's get started.
Yeah. What is he doing?
I don't know.
Is he Rochambeauing? Wait, what?
Joe's just, get this crap out of my way.
Joe's here to play Magic. Let me play my spells. Still no idea what Sebastian's doing.
Nathaniel?
Or yeah, sorry, I'm gonna do that.
He's just...
I think I do that every stream. They're just always around each other. Can't help it. Nathaniel being on the play. Land and pass. Land and pass. It's going to be a very slow start for both these players.
Yeah, Joe doesn't have too many creatures. Like, he's mostly leaning on the
he only has the
Pyromancer,
8.
Prophet, and
I guess Invasion.
Dreadhorde.
Invasion that technically counts as a creature, yeah.
Like, everything else is basically just a burn spell or a
I am-
Planeswalker.
I am surprised to see that in his entire 75, he is not playing the I can't think of the name of the card. It amasses 2 and then has your army deal damage to each other creature equal to its power.
Dreadhorde Invasion? Or
Isn't
no,
it-
that's Invasion.
That's that.
Sorry.
But you know which one I'm talking about.
Yes.
Because I almost played it in the sideboard of mine.
Widespread Brutality.
Yeah. I almost played it in the sideboard of mine just because, like, an Aristocrats deck, just wipe my own board, have all the triggers stack at the same time, like, seemed okay.
Yeah.
And I would still get to keep my bigger cards.
So Nathaniel took Shock. If I may quote him, that's a shocking move.
Not really now. He wants to keep his thief around.
Gotcha.
Although,
But then-
Joe he probably didn't read that card.
Yep. Does it to any target. All right, and Joe getting in for a couple.
It just seems so good. Kill your
Yep.
thing, gain 3.
Like playing Dredge in Modern, like I'm more than happy to cast Creeping Chill in the late game.
Yeah.
Like Lightning Helix to the face for
Everyone's
4
like,
is
"Oh,
still
it's-
fine.
It's a dead card, and I'm like, it'll still kill your opponent.
All right. Ooh, he actually hit.
I think
Gonna
that's
get
the
a
first time
Discovery Dispersal off his Augur.
it's the first time I've seen that card hit in like 7 years.
Joe, that's not a land. Let's try that again.
There you go. There you go, boy.
All right. Joe's not swinging in, and I think Nathaniel's going to be able to follow up with a Nicol Bolas here.
I wouldn't be surprised if Joe has Bedevil already.
No,
Unlikely. He only has 1 card left.
yeah, has Vampire's Bite
Sovereign's Bite.
or Sovereign's Bite.
It is a vampire. There it is. There's another. We're just gonna lightning helix you to death.
And we're just gonna
Joe gain 6. Yeah.
we're just gonna chill there. See what happens.
Oh my God! Burns a literal deck.
If he can finish. I think we're gonna see like a hard cast light up the stage next.
Yeah, he did that and then hit Wizard's Lightning Shock. It's like, oh no.
All right.
Yeah, like Joe. He's taking his life to. There you go. Not even afraid of the Nicol Bolas. He's got 25 life after a swing. Oh, no.
Well,
Might not get there.
yeah. Especially if Nathaniel gets that last land, which it looks like he did. Surprised he's not gonna.
How much mana is it to
Shock.
flip Nicol Bolas? 5?
7.
7? Okay.
Yeah, but Nathaniel has the other Nicol Bolas in hand. I guess he's choosing just to be careful, and he doesn't really want to shock.
Yeah. Looks like he's holding up in a cast down. Although, that's not
The thing
really going
is,
to do
though,
much.
He can go ahead and shock, and then just start plussing up the Nicol Bolas, and Joe won't have any permanents left.
Yeah. Lightning Stripe on one of the augers. Cast down a response. Joe back to nothing.
All right. Like, we're definitely going to see the Nicol Bolas here. Yep.
There was one thing I wanted to happen when, because this is Josh's deck.
Mm-hmm.
When he was building it, I was like, look, you have 2 Planeswalker Nicol Bolases in your deck. Can you please play Sarkhan and turn both of them back into dragons? I told him I'd give him money if he did it, but he refused.
The cool thing that I did for my Grixis deck, since it's also running a bunch of Nicol Bolases, is I have Mastermind's Acquisition to go get Deliver Unto Evil.
That's fantastic.
So it's just Masterminds, Deliver, get back Masterminds, and 3 more cards.
Ooh,
Yeah.
that seems really good. I hope you don't... We're not playing each other, right?
No, we're not playing each other
I'm
tonight.
playing Joe and Chad.
I'm playing Chad and Sebastian.
Okay.
All right. I think Nathaniel's
I think
got
it looks like an
this.
aggro deck now.
Yeah. He definitely turned the corner.
Yep.
Alrighty. So let's go ahead and head on over to sideboards. All right. So what are you liking out of Joe's sideboard?
Well, the obvious card being Duress.
Mhm.
That's going to steal just over half of Nathaniel's cards.
Yes.
Theater of Horrors, I think, is really good against any control deck. I have 2 in my sideboard as well. I'm kind of surprised there's not one of those main deck.
Yeah. Joe will be able to enable it very well.
It's just a better experimental frenzy if you're playing black. Kaya, I don't really see coming in. Angreth's Rampage, I see coming in.
I think Rampage is probably better than...
One of the
like-
Wizard's Lightnings.
Yeah.
That or Shock. One of the 2.
Yeah.
Joe has enough direct damage between Othakaya, Sovereign, and Lightning Strike, and Pyromancer,
Yeah.
and Chandra. So I think trimming those 4 spells are going to be ones that come out, and then maybe a light up the stage.
Maybe the Shadow Mage. It is a control matchup. Be able to just start...
His static attacks is Rack? Or is
Yeah.
it...
It's if they have 1 or less cards in hand during their upkeep, it deals 2 to them.
Okay.
The big thing, though, is if Nathaniel doesn't answer it immediately, he's losing 3 cards to it.
It's true.
Because it's 3 loyalty minus 1 target player discards a card.
Yep.
And then it can just sit there once Nathaniel's out of
you
cards.
just leave it on 1.
Mhm.
Yeah, I could see those coming in.
All right. Let's head on over to Nathaniel's list.
Now, what do you think about this one?
Like, Duress is okay to be able to get rid of a ton of burden spells that Joe has. Outside of that, like, there's no need for Disdainful... Is he short cards? 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13. He's
Yep,
short
he's
2
short
cards.
too. I was
Okay.
also short too.
Huh.
I had to fix it afterwards.
Okay, weird.
It removed my the black-white remove permanent for a greater D-Spark.
Okay.
Like
That's
it
weird.
just cut 2 cards off. I don't know what happened, but he probably has 15 and they're just not listed. So
Mhm.
I wouldn't be surprised if one of them's a second Carnarium.
Yeah, I'm not really sure. What you cut here.
I think if he cuts anything, I think the weakest card is probably Cast Down.
I actually don't like Dreadhorde Invasion here because he's
That's
just
true.
losing life. So
Yeah.
I see taking those out and possibly the Liliana to put in some extra duresses. I could also see maybe an Eldest Reborn just to get rid of one of Joe's threats and make him discard a card.
Yeah.
And if he can make it to the late game, like Niv Mizzet is a fine curve topper to just try to burn out Joe really fast, but it's not really necessary.
I mean, the Nicol Bolas does that at almost a similar pace, too.
Yeah. Okay. So let's see if our players are ready to go. You guys can start whenever. So maybe this one will end up a little bit better for Joe. He needs a faster start.
Yep.
Like he put out one creature and did some burn spells, and that was basically it.
Yeah. The game I played with him, he answered my board for about 3 turns, and then played a full cast Light Up the Stage, found his 4th land, and a removal spell.
Mm-hmm.
And which I tripped up for 2 turns. Then he played the X spell, Finale. Played Light Up the Stage again, revealed 2 burn spells, and I was just like, he's tapped out, I'm like, Sorin, get back creature. And he's just like, I can't do it now. So, like, he could kill both cards, but I still also had 2 other creatures in play.
Alright. So Joe is mulliganing down to 6.
Yep. Nathaniel
Find something a little bit better.
looks like he's keeping his 7. Joe also has a lot of, like, 2-ofs in his main deck. He has 2 Wizard's Lightning. He has 2 Dreadhorde Invasion, 2 Shock. I think there might only be 1 Bedevil. I thought there were 2.
Mm-hmm.
I think like the cards that he has 2-ofs, he might just be trying stuff out. I don't know, because I didn't really talk to him about it yet. I think if his card selection was a little more consistent, the deck would be performing a little better.
Alright. Looks like he's keeping a 1-lander. So we'll
Surprising,
see how that
he has
goes.
25 lands in his deck, so maybe he just knows he'll draw them
Oh.
like he just did.
Yep.
Or no,
No.
he didn't. What was that?
I thought it was a Sacred Foundry.
That's what I thought it was too. Did he just not look at the card when he picked it up? Oh, was it?
I guess it was Light Up the Stage.
Yeah.
Okay.
Huh.
Alright.
Neat.
Nope.
Did Nathaniel even surveil? I didn't see. He might have.
I think he did.
Okay. There's a thing that needs to die. There's a land. And a thing
There
to
we
kill the thing
go.
that needs
Right
to
on
die.
time. Alright.
I just wanted to make you think I didn't have mana. There's the duress. Probably grab. He pointed at
I
the
guess
lightning
the
strike.
lightning strike
Yeah.
until Joe just, hits his white source and kills that right off.
Nope.
Ooh, he's gonna carnival, double carnival to get rid of it.
Neat.
He is desperate. Okay, we got an Augur Bolus. Let's spin the
Whiff or hit.
wheel.
Whiff or hit.
Whiff.
Whiff. You need a couple more spells in the deck for that one. Another duress. We just leave him on 2 Chandra.
All right.
Please pick up a lightning strike. No, we found our white source though, so mana's unlocked. I think the window's open. Yeah.
No, I'm leaving that window open. Otherwise, we're gonna fry.
Yep.
Yeah, like something's on fire. There we got.
That's okay.
We got
The authorities
sirens
are
going off
handling
in the
it.
background.
Everything's fine.
Gonna go ahead and put that other duress in the graveyard.
Thought he duressed himself for a second.
Let's get rid of one of those Chandras.
He just made Joe discard a turn every turn for 4 turns.
Just gonna poke him. And Nathaniel is just down to 1 card in hand. He has the Angrass
Oh
Rampage.
no! Removes a land. All right, now we're going to see 3 lands in a row for Joe. We've hit the pocket. We're moto-bugged. Yeah, I guess that doesn't remove the loyalty counters if he aggrets them. Instead, we're just going to play Nicol Bolas.
Huh. Okay.
Maybe he just doesn't feel threatened by it and wants to get the clock going.
Okay, there's a land for Joe.
All right. 33% of the way there.
Gonna attack Joe, so like yeah, there we go. So gonna make Joe sacrifice Planeswalker. It's so weird seeing a Planeswalker removal like uncommon.
Yeah. A modal one at that.
Yep. Thought erasure. It is a land.
Oh, 3 lands in a row. I was correct.
Well, Joe's got to do something because he's at 5 and he's just dead next turn.
What's the other half of it do? 3 and 3?
Blightning.
Yeah. Not enough.
All right. And this one goes to Nathaniel. So that means you are going to be heading downstairs to play against Joe.
That is correct.
And let's bring this back up. In case you are just joining us, we are playing some War of the Spark Legal Standard, in which is going to finally premiere, I guess, on Arena on Thursday, and then the following Friday, it'll officially be paper legal.
So if we did the pre-order thing on Arena, we get that Thursday, don't we?
Yes.
Sweet.
Yeah, and I'm still debating. I guess I got to make a decision if I
make
want to do
decision.
that.
50 packs for $50 was a little hard to pass up.
Yeah.
Well, did it.
It's a very well-oiled game.
Mm-hmm.
You know,
it's come a long way from, what was it, 6 months ago?
Yeah.
They still didn't even have, or I think they had just put all of Standard on there.
Mm-hmm. So, like, it's a game that I feel is worthwhile to finally put some money into.
Absolutely.
All right.
And
then we got Nathaniel, so we'll catch you later.
Murder time. All right. Good game, Sarah.
Alrighty. And here is Nathaniel back in the booth.
Hello. It's been a while. That's how you spell my name. And you are.
There we go.
Trying so hard.
Well, when I started typing it, it was like Nath, and then just somebody slammed the keyboard on the autofill, so who knows?
It's fine. It's a hard name to spell.
Alrighty. So, now that Connor is heading down, let's go ahead and bring up his list. He's going to be on the left-hand side. There he is.
I have not actually looked at his list at all.
All right. So he is on Mardu Aristocrats. We got some fun toys from the newest set. From War, excuse me. So first one is we have Cruel Celebrant, which is just a Zulport Cutthroat that's a little bit harder to cast, but it's a 1/2.
Yeah.
We also have, and Connor was talking about this card earlier, Dreadhorde Butcher, in which I'm going to go ahead and
he's
bring up
basically
on the
like a Sith Firewalker, isn't he?
Yes. So, black and a red for a 1/1 haster. Deals combat damage to a player or planeswalker. I like that they changed all these triggers for this set.
Yes.
You can put a counter on it. Plus, when he dies, you get to deal damage equal to its power to any target. So, definitely an upgrade to Sith Firewalker.
Yeah. Now, the dice trigger is really strong in this card, and the fact that, like you said, it gets the counters off of hitting planeswalkers is also very strong.
Mm-hmm.
This seems like one of the stronger cards added to red-black decks if they're trying to be more aggressive.
Yeah. Another card that I want to bring up is the new Sorin, which I am less familiar with, but I do know for the static ability, on your turn, planeswalkers and creatures you control have lifelink, which is pretty big for a deck that deals a lot of damage.
Yep, it's it's a mirror breaker against other red-black. Well, not really mirror breaker, but it's really good against other red aggro decks because the amount of life you gain off of just having a few creatures plus the Sorin can be insane.
Yeah.
And then the reanimation ability itself is also fairly strong.
The +2 itself, like, is okay, but the fact that it's +2 loyalty instead of +1 loyalty, like the old Chandra, which did similar,
Yeah.
is a very big deal because it helps fuel the -X.
Yeah, and it gives you a little bit of buffer if they have like 1/1 or something. You're actually gaining loyalty, or at least you're not losing that much loyalty if they have more creatures.
Yeah. Other than that, like, we have Judith, which we already know is a powerhouse. We just haven't had a good shell to put her in yet. For 1-drops, we got Gutterbones, which is going to be very easy for Connor to bring back.
Yep.
We also have Footlight Fiend, which you've probably only seen in Ravnica Allegiance Limited.
But boy, have I seen a lot of it.
Yeah,
Allegiance
but
is limited.
when it dies, deals damage to any target. Paired up with Judith and Celebrant, you get to deal extra damage, plus another way to bring Gutterbones back. We also have Hero of Precinct 1, which is one of 3 monocolor cards in the deck. So it's just going to trigger and get a ton of humans.
Yeah, this card seems like it's going to be able to get a lot of value off of that, and then in combination with the Kroll Celebrant, and does Judith pump tokens?
Judith pumps tokens,
Yes.
you just don't get triggers off the tokens.
Okay, yeah. So you get a fair amount of bonus off of the Hero Precinct 1. And overall, this deck seems like it has a lot of good synergies with just playing a lot of powerful cards in addition to the synergistic cards. So.
Hero is definitely a card that was also looking for the correct shell. So be curious if we found it now.
Yes.
I know a lot of players, especially those of us that are nostalgic for the original Aristocrats deck from Innistrad block, or the standard around Innistrad, have just really been looking for another Aristocrats deck. I think we saw a glimpse of it back when Khans was out, because we had the Exploit guy.
I think it was Ron Khan's era.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right, so let's get these guys started. You can go ahead whenever.
All right. Who's going to be on the play? Also, we should probably reset the clock.
Almost had everything. All right,
Neat.
there we go. It's okay. We didn't have a clock for the first round.
You probably won't need it for this round.
Okay. So we have Footlight Fiend to start us off.
Yep, Footlight Fiend, and what we're going to play on turn 2. Turn 2 is going to be your Vampire, your Kroll
Cruel
Celebrant.
Celebrant.
Yes, I had to double check the name of that
Yep.
card.
But that would have been perfect time to have his new Dreadhood Horde Butcher swing and get in for 2.
Yeah.
All right, going to play another Celebrant.
Okay, and
I'm
now he's
going
going
to get in there, and Joe's going to be making a block that he's not too excited about.
Nope, and
So-
this is going to gain Connor some life. It's going to kill Joe's 1 creature, and Connor
Joe
still
takes
has
3.
something.
Yep. And it looks like Connor doesn't have a 3rd land, though.
Yeah, unfortunately, he's not able to hit that 3rd land, and his deck does have a fair amount of 3 and higher costing cards, so could hurt him a little bit here.
All right, it's Maritime. We got a 1/3 blocker here
Yeah.
on Joe's side.
Joe was really excited for that card.
He is super excited about that card. And Connor's going to go in for a couple more. It is not Blood Artist, so it does not trigger off of Joe's stuff dying.
Okay. That is fairly relevant here.
Yes. All right. Back on over to Joe since Connor has still missed his land drop. Going to have Oathakaya, allow Joe to gain some life, so he's going to net go up 2.
I'm gonna be honest with you. I forgot that Oathakaya could deal damage to creatures.
Yep.
When I was playing against him.
It is any target. It is just a sorcery lightning helix for 3, and that is still good.
Yeah.
All right. Joe's drawn all the lands. Connor would love to get one of them.
Joe was having a not great time with drawing lands when I was playing against him as well. He either drew all of them or none of them. Huh?
More Gutterbones.
Oh man, that's a good man right now.
Joe's going to go ahead and use a lightning strike on 1.
Oh man, you know the game's going well when you're lightning striking at Gutterbones. Okay. I really hope he has something else.
All right, Connor. Still not a land. You might have to make Joe sacrifice a creature here.
Yep.
Angrath's Rampage.
Gotta make him sacrifice a dude, then he's gonna take 3.
Yeah, I think Joe's just kind of running out of gas here.
Yeah, unfortunately, where Joe has a lot more burn in his deck, it means that playing against a deck that has some amount of recursion and value and life gain is a little bit tricky for him here.
Mm-hmm. All right. Oath of Kaya. Get rid of the old one.
Yep.
Gain some life.
Now,
There we go. Connor got it.
Finally seeing his
Finally
land.
there. Doesn't matter, though. He's going to play 2-drop.
It's like I finally got to my 3rd mana. Alright, I don't need it.
There we go. And Dreadhorde Butcher has a counter on it, so that's not a good sign for Joe.
No, and that Godless Shrine also not a great sign for Joe.
All right.
Either.
And I think we're going to see a Sorin here.
Yep. Soren's gonna enter the battlefield, deal damage to Joe, and then also gain 4 more life for Connor. So Connor's gonna go back up to 20 this turn.
Yep, and Joe's just going to scoop it up. The writing is on the wall. He is...
That's not... There you go.
There we go. All right, so let's head on over to sideboards. See what Joe's got going on.
Alright, so I assume the Kaya's Wraths. He's playing a Tibalt. 2 Tibalts.
Mm-hmm.
Probably not. Maybe the Kaya, and maybe the Angrath's Rampage.
Yeah, definitely fine with all those. I think Kaya can hit a few of the 1-drops in it, which are fine, and the ultimate on there does allow you to gain the life back, right?
Yeah. So Kaya's uptick, if you exile a creature, you gain 2 life.
Okay.
And her ultimate deals X damage and gains X life for X amount of exile cards and target players. Exile.
So she definitely seems fine.
Yeah. Not a huge fan of Sovereign's Bite since it can only deal damage to opponents.
Actually, the Tibalt might not be too bad here. Let me go ahead and bring that up real quick.
He makes
because the static ability makes it so Connor can't gain any life.
Oh right, I forgot about the static ability.
Let's go ahead and bring that up. Yeah, just opponents can't gain life, and then you get to make a 1/1 devil that when it dies deals damage to any creature.
Yeah, I totally
any
forgot
target.
about that. The devil can actually be fairly good in this matchup because it allows you to kill all the 1/1s that are in Connor's deck, and then the life gain, like you said, we saw that game. Connor gained a lot of life, so that could be a consideration.
For things to take out, I'm not a big fan of Sovereign's Bite here.
Yeah, that card I'm not a fan of. I don't think that you're trying to play the Dreadhorde Invasion game here, or maybe you are.
I think it's fine to be able to put some things out. I don't think you're ever getting to 6 power.
Right.
But he definitely wants those blockers or ones that can exchange with Connor's board.
That's fair.
I still haven't seen it in play, so I really want to see that card in action to see how good or bad it is.
That is reasonable. So we have 3 Sovereign's Bites we can cut, and we have up to 6 cards up to 7 cards we'd consider.
Yeah, because we're considering the Kaya's Wraths, right?
Yeah, we could maybe not bring in the Kaya's Wraths. I feel like Kaya's Wrath is fairly strong, but you could also just bring in your Kaya and your Tibalts.
Joe just doesn't want to go the late game that much.
Yeah, that's reasonable.
So,
and it's not like he's playing against mid-range deck, so he doesn't get as much insane value off the board wipes here.
yeah.
So
Okay. Well, let's see what Connor's got going on.
all right, Connor on the other hand is playing. I have to imagine he likes the Deafening Clarions. They can gain life or they can wrath the board. And the Wanderer has a static ability that actually feels fairly relevant here, because she prevents non-combat damage, correct?
Yeah, let me bring it up real quick. Just make sure we got the correct wording on the static ability.
Yep. You and other
Delta
permanents you control.
Okay, so Joe would still be able to directly hit the Wanderer with it, but it would shut off any of his lightning strikes, his Oath of Kaya, Shock,
And
Shino.
and even with the damage effects, he still has to put 5 damage into it, which is essentially gaining 5 life, which for 4 mana isn't the best, but if he doesn't have it, it shuts down a lot of what Joe is doing.
Mm-hmm.
So I think that might be a consideration.
He also has Tajiks to do similarly, but I don't think you want the Tajiks here.
No. I think the main thing is just the Deafening Clarions are the ones that stand up the most to me, not even necessarily for the board wipe, but just for the life gain almost.
What about Theater of Horrors? Or we're probably not even going that late.
I don't think we're going that late here.
Okay.
Is there anything, what cards do we not like?
If we're putting in 4-drops, I feel like taking out Tesa's is fine. Because there's a lot of setup involved with that.
Yes.
Other than that, Response Resurgence.
Response Resurgence feels a little slow.
Yeah.
And maybe you could cut down some of your clunkier removal spells like Mortifies,
Yeah.
since there aren't really enchantments you hear about.
Okay.
Alright.
Let's head back on down. You all can start whenever. Looks like they're still... Oh no, they're ready to go. They're pulling out some tokens.
Look at them being responsible, getting tokens. Joe
So-
mulliganing again.
Yeah.
He does not have luck tonight.
No. By the way, one thing I did forget to change is we are
Round-
on round number 3.
Not round number 1.
Not round number 1. There we go. It's always so hard to remember every little thing that you got to change up on here.
There's so many
We
little
need a
things.
checklist.
Just a little checklist that just constantly stays open. You're like, okay, this is what I'm supposed to do.
I'm saying, like, just get Corey some sticky notes and just put it up here. It's like, hey, did you do that thing? With a nice arrow.
I mean, we could all benefit from it, honestly.
All right. So Connor's going to start off with a Gutter Bones versus Joe's Vishino Pyromancer. And yeah, Connor just has such a better start than Joe
Yeah.
with his deck, having just these 1-drops that he doesn't mind trading.
And Joe trading his 2-drop for the Gutter Bones means that going to later turns, Connor's going to get that value back, and Joe just essentially paid 2 mana and deal 2 damage Connor.
And Joe puts out a Dreadhorde Invasion, so curious how that will go.
We do finally get to see in action.
Yep. And Connor is missing a red source, but he can go ahead and return his Gutter Bones. I think
Yeah.
that's kind of all that he can do right now.
Now, I pulled out a Germ token in case use of the new enchantment was necessary, but I don't know what Joe's going to use. Probably just a zombie.
Or, okay, there we go.
Zombie works. We know what it's supposed to
I
be.
was going to say, or just misses upkeep trigger, you know?
That also
he did
works.
bring in Kaya's Wrath, which does seem really good right now,
Mm-hmm.
though he can't cast it.
No, but if he draws a white source, he will be able to cast it for some amount of value. Oh, what are we doing? Light up the stage. Okay. Not seeing any lands.
All right,
Okay.
there we go. We got...
I don't
another
actually know
thing.
what that token is from.
I don't either. It's an army. All right. Connor is really needing a red source here.
Mm-hmm.
I'm actually curious. 8, 12, 16, 21? Looks like Connor's only running 21 lands. That seems a little bit light.
Yeah.
He probably wants to be running 22, 23. 23 ideally.
I agree. The fact that he's running, he has 5 4-drops and then 3 6 3-drops.
Mhm.
Sorry, 10 3-drops. Yeah, he could probably stand to gain another land or 2.
Yeah. It's not something anybody ever likes removing good cards from their deck for, but
You need lands.
yeah, you need lands.
Alright. Joe has some more stuff going on now, and Connor continues to miss on lands. Joe has a pretty good chance of just turning this game around.
All right. Connor's going to go ahead and swing in. If I were Joe, we would go ahead and block the Gutter Bones and just let the other 2 through.
Just let the other 2 through. I kind of like blocking one of the 1/1s and the Gutter Bones, like putting the army in front of the Gutter Bones and the 1/3 in front of the... Well, no, because then.
Then it also kills the Pyromancer.
Yeah, that's tricky. Okay.
Okay.
So if he blocks like this,
Then everything dies on Joe's
Yes.
side, though.
everything dies on Joe's side and everything dies on Connor's side. But Connor gets to bring back a Gutter Bones.
No, he does not.
Oh yeah, because he has to do all the damage to.
Yep.
All right, he's gonna play Hero Precinct 1.
All right. And we're going to see Joe maybe slowly die. We don't know yet.
He does need to start gaining some amount of pressure because that enchantment does kind of make his life total go down at a pace he might not enjoy.
Mm-hmm.
Alright, here's 1-3, and is he just going to pass back here? Yep. So Connor did find a land, but he did not find a red land, so it looks like he's still stranded with a bunch of red cards in his hand.
Yeah, that's not great. And he can't get through right now to bring back the Gutter Bones either.
Nah, so he's just going to have to pass back the turn, and Joe's going to continue to get a bigger army token.
Yeah.
Kind of just looking at it
Kinda
saying, like,
rough.
man, I'd like to cast the spell.
All right. So Joe now has a 2/2 and a 1/3.
Yep. And whoa,
There we go.
Okay. Hey, that's a really good card right now.
Yep, and it also gains Joe some life.
Gains Joe
And
some
lets him
life.
scry, and he gets to swing in for 4.
Yep. Connor's in a real rough spot now, and he drew another red card.
Yep.
That's not what he's looking for.
I don't think Connor's going to get this one. He has just missed too many land drops.
Yeah, I would agree. And he's going to be going down to a fairly low life total this turn as well.
All right. So,
So
Joe's only able to do it for 1? Okay.
correct. So he's just playing a 5 mana light up the stage
Yeah.
that also double pumps his man.
Yeah. And he gets to scry twice.
Like, it's actually not
So
that
he gets
bad.
to figure out what he wants to light up the stage.
And he gets to attack in for 2, 5, 6 here, putting Connor down to 4. And he's exiling an Oathakaya, and I can't tell what the other card is.
It's a multicolor card.
It is that.
Is it Bedevil? No.
No. It looks like
Angrath's Rampage.
it could be that.
Could be. Maybe.
Very, very possibly so, but I'm not sold on it. Hey, that's a Sorin. He's too late.
Yeah.
He's gonna use it to reanimate his Footlight Fiend, but
Yeah,
then he just dies.
He knows this one's over. All right, Joe. What is that card down there? Let's see how he grabs it.
Oh, perfect. Just not showing us at
Nope.
all.
Okay. So now we're all tied up.
Yep. Connor is gonna be on the play for the last game.
Yeah, and I think it's just something as simple as Connor just adds 2 more lands to his deck.
Mm-hmm.
Probably trim Response Resurgence,
I would agree. That card
and
seems like-
probably trim one of the Footlight Fiends,
yeah.
and go ahead and put in a couple lands there. Ideally, let's see. He's got a full set of shocks for all of them.
He might also cut down one of his 3-drop removal spells at that point. Honestly, because 6 3-drop removal spells seems a bit high.
Okay, so probably trim Mortify, keep it Bedevil.
Yeah.
It's definitely meta dependent.
It is certainly meta dependent, but even then he still is left with 9 removal spells because he has Angrath's Rampage, Cast Downs, Bedevils, and Mortifies.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that allows him to just go ahead and put in probably like another cliff top and another summit.
Yeah, which I like doing that.
Mm-hmm.
he's reconsidering some things though.
So, are there any new cards you're excited to see tonight?
So, I played a lot of cards I was excited for in my deck.
Mhm.
I really want to see how Nicol Bolas feels. Feels really good. Unsurprisingly, that Planeswalker feels very strong. Dreadhorde Invasion, I want to see more of that because I don't know. Like the card should be good, right? It feels good, right? Like it's a Bitter Blossom.
I'm still not sold on it.
Mhm.
Like, we did see it doing some work with Joe's deck, like
Mhm.
near the end. Like, the opponent does have to keep throwing removal on it. It feels like a card that, if you're ahead, it's going to help you stay ahead.
Mm-hmm.
But if you're behind,
It's just kind of
It-
making it worse for you.
it might not help you get there because it's just going to be on chump block duty every turn.
That is reasonable.
And Bitter Blossom, due to the evasion, you're able to
Press.
still just go ahead and like press your advantage. Even if you're on the back foot, you're like, okay, well, I'm just going to start attacking and try to interact with your creatures the best that I can.
And honestly, I'm just really excited to see any Planeswalkers from this set. I just really like how they've done the design of giving all the Planeswalkers static abilities, and I want to see how they affect games.
Mm-hmm.
Like the Sorin seems like he has a fairly strong ability, and Nicol Bolas already said have a strong ability. I think that Liliana in the right shell could theoretically be really strong, but she's 6 mana, so probably not.
That's the big thing, too. Like, it's going to be one of those curve toppers, one-ofs in the
Mhm.
deck. It's probably going to be very good against mid-range style decks.
Oh yeah, for sure. Being able to play her in -2 to kill 2 creatures off the board is very strong,
Mhm.
and then she just pumps out tokens and draws cards.
Alrighty.
Is Joe on 5? Ooh.
Oh.
No, he's on 6. Okay, that's
okay.
that's doable. No? Joe. Joe, you're killing me.
He's on 6, but he accidentally drew an extra card.
Okay.
Like, it looked like the cards stuck together.
Yeah,
So.
and so they just threw it back because, like, he knows he's not cheating. Well, Connor knows Joe's not trying to cheat or anything.
Are you looking forward to how the new Mulligan's going to do this weekend?
I'm actually, yeah. So, I know that there's some concern about it in Eternal formats, and I'm not going to say that that's not found it, but I'm excited to maybe cut down on the amount of feel-bad games you have in Standard and Limited.
Mm-hmm.
Because losing games where you just kind of don't play Magic is a really bad feeling.
Yeah. You don't want those Mythic Championship finals where they mull down to 5.
Yeah, that feels real bad.
One thing I'm very curious about is going to be the viewer count this weekend, because it's also a pre-release.
Yeah, I think that the pre-release weekend is gonna mess with viewer counts because like most people who play Magic go to pre-releases
Mm-hmm.
because like it's just one of those fun events that everyone just can go to and just wind down a little bit, enjoy a new set.
Mm-hmm. You going to head out to one this weekend?
Yeah, for the first time in a while, yeah, I'm gonna do one pre-release. They'll be exciting. I usually don't do them just because like there are so many people and I don't like sealed events in person, and I have really bad luck with opening packs. So, is Joe missing a land drop?
Looks like Joe's missing a land drop.
Ooh, that's unfortunate. If he had a Kaya this turn, it'd be really good.
Connor has all of his mana
He
and
does.
3 lands.
He
And
does.
4 lands.
Is he gonna play? Oh,
Ooh, yeah.
There's the man.
Feels good.
Okay. Connor having to double check to make sure he knows what his Planeswalker does, which is understandable. A lot of tax on that man.
So is he choosing not to ping,
It's only creature or Planeswalker.
or you mean opponent or planeswalker?
I mean, opponent or Planeswalker, that one.
Oh, I thought it was any target.
No.
Guess I am misremembering. Do.
It would be, unless maybe I am wrong. Damage
Player or planeswalker?
Yep.
Okay.
Okay. He's still fairly strong in this type of game, though. And Joe missing lands. Really bad.
Alright. Connor just slowly pinging him to death.
Yep, and now Joe's gonna deal 3 damage to the Soren, untap, and
Deal 3 more damage
deal
to the
3 more
Zoran.
damage to it. I don't know that that's a winning game plan, but it may be the best thing he has. Oh, yep. Swung for 2, block. Lightning strike the thing.
Okay. Like, order doesn't matter. I think Joe is thinking that it has a lifelink or something. That's only on Connor's turn.
Okay.
All right.
Why is that? What's going on?
Just,
I'm confused. Okay.
okay. Okay. Okay.
We figured it out.
Yeah, I think Joe didn't read it right.
Well,
Theater horrors.
okay, so we are doing that,
Swinging in 1.
and it's gonna pull some weight
Yeah,
here.
it seems good right here.
Counterpaying 2 life. Okay. Like, at this point, his life total is not in danger.
Yeah. Joe's got nothing.
Alright.
Connor's going to draw a card. Connor's going to swing in.
Oh, and he
Going to
has
swing in
his-
with 2 dudes.
Yep, Joe. I think Joe has this turn to draw a land.
Connor's going to play his land. And pass it on over. And Joe drew his land.
Okay.
Does that do anything?
I sure hope for
He
him
has
it
a
does.
Kaya he can minus.
Minus can hit the Footlight Fiend, but that still leaves a 3/3 in play.
Oh,
He's
okay.
gonna play a Kaya's Oath, or Oath of Kaya. He's gonna net gain 1 life essentially, or not. It's gonna
Connor's
get
going to
Dreadbore.
bedevil his own guy to make sure that Joe doesn't gain some life.
That is a thing that happens.
It's not the best thing in the world, but it might be correct here.
Yeah, and one other small thing that is probably gonna end up mattering this game is the activability of Theater of Horrors.
Yes.
It's just allowing Connor to get that little chips of damage in.
All right. And it's going to be necessary to deal with this Kaya.
It's gonna be necessary to deal with it, though. Attacking it does make the. Oh yeah, that's right. You
Yeah.
can deal damage to Planeswalkers as
Player
well.
or Planeswalker.
That's goofy.
Yep.
That's a bedevil. Oh, it looks like he kept his Tesas in.
All right. So. Yeah, it doesn't matter which way he does that because he can
Now-
just ping ping Joe.
Did Joe catch his trigger on Oath of Kaya?
No, it doesn't look like it.
Ooh, that probably is gonna matter.
So yeah, that definitely did matter if Joe caught his trigger.
Yeah, because it makes him lose life and you gain life, right?
Yes.
Yeah.
2 life.
Which is, at this point, matters a lot when you're at 6 life.
Yes. Joe's thinking.
He takes 3, 4. Yeah, Connor can theoretically kill him next turn.
Ping Joe, put him to 5. 4, 3, 2, 1.
All right, Joe has seen enough. He's gonna scoop it up,
Alrighty.
and that's the match for him.
Yeah. Connor wins this one. 2-1.
All right, what do we have up next?
Alright. So we got Chad
Okay, there it is. All right.
on Azorius Control is going to be facing Connor.
Yep, Chad is also new here tonight, so it's gonna be your first time seeing him play. He's got some stuff going on in here.
This should be very familiar deck for you.
It is the Gideon Blackblade is a card I wouldn't expect, but he's playing more of the cheap planeswalkers in his deck, so he's playing more tap out control than just draw go control.
Yeah, it's definitely a strong card. I will say that.
He's playing 4 Seal Oasis removal, 1 Blink of an Eye. He has 6 total board wipes in the combination of Settle the Wreckage and Cleansing Nova. And he's getting to show off Dovin's Veto, which is just a negate that's slightly better. arguably slightly worse in matchups that don't have counterspells, since it costs a blue and a white as opposed to just a blue and a colorless, but for this deck it shouldn't be a problem.
Hmm.
No, I'm always a fan of blue-white X control decks. Teferi still seems like one of the strongest planeswalkers in Standard.
Yep.
Um,
Always is.
as it turns out, the man's fairly strong, but I think Gideon Blackblade is also an incredibly strong planeswalker. Unsurprisingly, for any planeswalker with Gideon in its name.
Hmm. Especially since you could just protect the Gideon, and then you get to -6 to deal with anything like permanently, not just tuck it.
Yes.
The other card, new card that he has, is a couple Teferi Time Ravelers,
Okay.
which are pretty potent against other control decks because it basically turns off their ability to counter.
It turns off their ability to counter. It allows you to, in the late game, cast your Cleansing Novas at instant speed if you need to. And it also can just bounce something to draw a card if need be.
Yeah.
I'm not sold on him being the most amazing thing, but he certainly seems fairly strong, and it definitely is really strong against any deck running blue spells. So
He's also running 2 Blast Zones to be able to deal with early drops.
I didn't even see that card.
Just kind of hiding in there.
Blast Zone seems like a really strong card. It's unfortunate I can't hit tokens, but just to be a land that can kill 1-drops really easily, or late game kill higher drops.
If you have that Dimir 2-drop that removes counters, then it can hit tokens.
It can hit tokens with that, but
Yeah.
by itself.
Yeah,
that card actually seems strong here.
Apparently they did that on purpose. 1, so it didn't just completely nuke tokens, and 2, so you could proliferate off of it. If it didn't have the counter, you'd have to first add the counter before you could proliferate.
Yeah, I mean, I like it not being on 0 because just being able to play a land and just immediately pop off all tokens feels like it would lead to a lot of feel bad situations.
I feel like for a format like Legacy and sometimes Modern, though, having it at 0 would have been a little bit better. To be able to get rid of like Chalice of the Voids.
Chalice of the Voids, Lion's Eye Diamonds, Mox Diamonds. You have a lot of things in Eternal formats.
Or Vintage.
Yeah,
It's a little slow unless you're playing Moxen yourself, but then you're kind of like throwing away your Moxen.
Yeah, it could certainly see... Like, it could do some work in Vintage, but like you said, it's a little awkward because if you're ramping it out, you're losing stuff off of it, so... But no, this is also an exciting card for me. So,
Alrighty.
let's see them in action.
Let's head on down. You guys are good to start? Hit that timer reset.
Yeah, there you go. You did the thing.
Think I got everything this time?
Yeah, looks that way.
Nope.
Oh, nope.
There we go.
Missed the really important one.
I think our viewers would like to actually see the match.
I can hear them talking about a game, and it sounds like they know what they're talking about, but I don't see a game. All right, now are they going to catch that their life totals are different than they should be?
I think they'll get it in a moment.
The mouse gets really weird when you try to do that. So if you click on the window, then it permanently stays. Yeah, there you go. Bam.
There we go.
All right. So, not sure who's on play, who's on draw. 4, 5, 6. It looks like Chad may be on a mulligan, and Connor might be on a mulligan as well.
Connor's on the play. Gonna play a Footlight Fiend. Chad's just gonna play Hollow Fountain tap and pass it over.
And one small thing that might be awkward if Connor catches onto it is 7 of the removal spells in Chad's deck require for the creature to be attacking or tapped. In fact, he only has 3 ways to answer creatures that are untapped on his opponent's side of the board.
Gonna play a Judith there, so Footlight Fiend's gonna attack in for 2.
Yep. Chad just kind of opts, looking. I'm not sure if he needs lands here, but probably wants to be able to answer that Judith sometime soon. It looks like he's pretty fine on lands. Just gotta play a Blast Zone here.
Yep. And he's going to have the option to add a counter if he really wants to.
Mm-hmm.
Or pop it off if he really wants to. Just doesn't seem great to do right now.
No, I don't think you really want to pop that off just to kill Footlight Fiend.
Also don't want to play that Gideon right now, where it's unprotected.
Yeah, just playing the Gideon throw it away doesn't seem very strong. But China is under some amount of pressure here.
Yep. He's going to opt. Hope to find a seal away.
Seal away would be incredible right now. I'm sure he'd settle even for a blink of an eye just to save a little bit of life, but looks like he doesn't find anything. He's going to take that 5 damage.
All right, Connor's just going to pass back. He's got enough pressure on the board right now, so...
Alright, Chad just passing back again. Now, Connor at this point has to be concerned about Saddle Wreckage. His opponent hasn't really played anything, so the chances that he's holding something like a Settle or another board wipe are very high.
Connor's like, no fear.
I mean, sometimes that's what you gotta do.
All right, Chad's going to draw a couple cards. Hope to hit a board wipe or something.
Yeah, he really needs to hit one like this turn, otherwise he's gonna get to too low of a life total.
Yeah, like a Cleansing Nova is still going to deal 3 damage to him.
Yeah. And a Saddle Wreckage. Okay. So he's got a Cleansing Nova. Judith is... Does Judith count for herself or just...
Yes.
Okay. So it's going to deal, like you said, 3 damage. Chad's going to go to 6. And he's cleared the board, but he's not completely out of the water yet.
All right, and let's see what Connor has to follow it up with. No creatures.
It looks like he has a bunch of spells in hand.
Mm.
And if this is who I think it is, yep, there's a boy hitting the board.
I'll be pretty happy when this card finally rotates out. There's always that card every season.
I
Or every year, I should say.
I have played Teferi in every format at this point, and honestly, yeah, that's fair. He's too good.
He is very good. They finally found how to push the 5-mana Planeswalker.
Yeah, it's also funny because, like, initially when you just looked at the card, it didn't seem all that impressive. But then when you played it, you're like, oh, this is really strong.
We had that prior, our prior experience told us that Planeswalkers weren't good unless they were 4 or less mana.
Mm-hmm.
And then we finally saw it's like, okay. There's probably like a few exceptions where it's like, all right, there are times where a 5-mana Planeswalker is fine.
Yes.
Like we had Nissa Whirlwaker in some decks, but it was never like, oh, game's over. It's, okay, you have a threat that's a little bit more difficult for me to deal with.
Yeah, I think like the best 5-drop Planeswalker before Gideon was, I mean, before Teferi was Gideon and Jura, all the way back in Callblade era, but like that was a one of in the deck, and
Yeah.
I don't think he was the reason the deck was so good.
No.
So we got Gideon Blackblade and a Teferi in play.
Yep. And
Connor drew a land, and it looks like he doesn't really have anything to do here.
no, he's got a Mortify, which doesn't do anything.
It looks like Mortify land and then his flip spell.
Yeah.
So you're just going to have to take that 4 damage. And eventually that is going to be a problem.
Yeah, that Teferi gets a little annoying when paired up well.
Mm-hmm.
It's just like, all right, can't interact on my turn.
Yeah. Also, Search for Wisconsin is a really strong card, and Chad can go ahead and flashback his jumpstart his Chemister's Insight this turn.
Mm-hmm.
So, door quickly closing on Connor. Sacrifice a Planeswalker. Looks like it's going to get absorbed. Mortify going to take care of the Search for Wisconsin,
All right.
and Chad's going to go up to non-life.
Going to go ahead and put another counter on that.
Yep. And see what else we can pick up. looks like a Cleansing Nova was picked up, which in combination with New Teferi means that even if Connor's able to put something down that matters, Chad can just instant speed wipe it.
Yep. And I think Connor's going to have a hard time coming back from this now. Because
yeah,
Chad can still minus his Gideon to get rid of something on Connor's side.
he has the land to destroy things if he needs to. He has Teferi to bounce stuff if he needs to. And he has card advantage in his graveyard, so... And it's just, yep, another search. Counter. Yeah, I don't know what Connor draws here to win the game. I don't think it's that.
No, I also don't think it's that. Well then.
Connor looks at his hand again. Does this do it? No.
Nope. I don't think another combat step's going to win anything for him.
Alright. Chad bumping up both of his lands. Now
He's
he
going
has
to do it the slow way. He could just put 2 counters on the one that had 1 in it. Instead he wanted to activate each individually.
He could have done that, but like, activating abilities is fun. Alright, got that search for his content flipped. Yeah, I don't. This is looking real good for him. Which the game started off looking a little rocky for Chad, but he was able to stabilize, and now he has his Planeswalkers just doing stuff. Admittedly, his Teferi here isn't really doing anything, but it's kind of like a safety net. If need be, he can bounce things, draw cards, and he has access to instant speed board wipes.
So previously, I thought, due to Liliana and Nicol Bolas, it's like, oh, all the mythics have 3 abilities plus a static.
Yes.
And then for Gideon, it's like, oh, Gideon doesn't have a 3rd ability. It's like, no. This guy doesn't need another ability. The fact that he's a creature, and you prevent the damage to him, and he's indestructible on your turn.
No, Gideon Blackblade is
That's
absurd.
essentially another ability.
So Chad's going to go and wipe the board. Connor, at this point, believes that he has seen enough, and he's going to scoop it up.
Alrighty. So Chad gets first game, and let's head on over to deck lists. So we'll start off with Connor. What do you like in the side?
So, seeing all the Planeswalkers, I like Angrath's Rampage coming in. I like the Tajiks to be a little more aggressive, and the Theater of Horrors if you're trying to play that late game. What is D-Spark again? Exile's a permanent with what?
Converted mana cost 4 or greater. So the only thing that's really going to hit on Chad's side in the main is Old Teferi.
Yeah, so at that point you'd rather just have Angrath's Rampage.
Yes.
So I like the Rampage, possibly the Bedevil, the Theater of Horrors, and the Tajiks are all considerations. Let's see, the cast downs don't do anything, correct?
No.
No. Okay. I think Teysa Karloff is too slow and doesn't do enough here.
Yeah, I agree.
Your double spell, not a fan of it. I'm just not a fan of that card in general, honestly. So that's 5 cards. Definitely want the... Maybe you don't need all the Rampages, because you already have a fair amount of removal spells.
Well, you can do 2 Rampages, Bedevil, and 2 Jeeks.
Yeah. Just not
or alternatively, you bring in like some of the Theater of the Horrors to be able to go to the late game.
Okay. And you want to leave your Mortifies and destroy the Search for Escanta, as that card's a problem for you, I think.
I could see trimming that down to 2, though.
That's fair. Having multiple in your hand does feel kind of bad.
So cutting 2 cast down, 1 Mortify, 2 Teysa, and a Response Resurgence gives you 6 cards. Putting in 2 Rampage, Bedevil, 2 Tajic, and a Theater, potentially.
Or even... I don't actually know if you need the 4th Bedevil, and just bring in the other Theater of Horrors.
Okay.
Because at that point you have 7 removal spells for Planeswalkers, which feels like enough, without bringing in the other Bedevil. So.
Yep, that seems more than fine. You also have the Sorin, once Connor's able to get it on the board, to kind of keep some of the Planeswalkers in check too.
Yes.
Like, it's not going to kill them, but it's going to at least keep them from, like, ultimating.
Yeah, which is sometimes all you need. Alright. Well, let's look at the Chad side now.
Alright.
Alright. What all do we have here?
So,
I like Lyras and I like Deputy of Detentions.
yeah, both of those seem very good. Um, thankfully, Connor is still going to have removal that can hit both creatures and planeswalkers.
Mm-hmm.
So, we're not in a situation where Lyra is just fine.
Yes.
Like, it can potentially get killed.
Mm-hmm.
But other than that, like it's still a fine card to put in.
Yes.
Um,
I don't think you're bringing in Teos. I don't think you need more Dovin Betos.
no, I think just the Lyras and Deputy is fine.
After seeing that game, I wasn't a huge fan of the Teferis in this matchup. So
The
like
Lil Teferis.
Lil Teferi.
Correct.
Yeah. Lil Teferi felt kind of mediocre. And,
I could definitely see just removing those two.
And as far as what else to cut, maybe the blink of an eye. I like your board wipes here. And I don't know if I want to cut a Kimmercer's Insight or Search for Escanta. Those are the only other things I would consider cutting, so
No,
I think
I
that,
think that's about it.
yeah. Minimal sideboarding here, but I think that Chad's deck is fine enough in this matchup already.
Mm-hmm.
So,
It's just removal and Teferi and counter spells
yeah, it's
and card draw.
weird, but like, that's good or something, I think.
All right,
Alright.
you all can start.
Oh, they can start.
All right,
All
let's
right.
get them back up on the board.
Kinda
Connor's
got
going to be on the play.
Yep.
And starting off with a Godless Shrine.
Looks like he's gonna put in play on tap. I think he was considering. I was gonna say he's considering deploying his one drop until he had the hero in play, but he had a gutter bone, so
Yeah.
he was just considering which one drop he wanted to play. Knocking stuff over.
This thing loves to move.
It sure does.
All right. Back on over to Connor. I think he's debating between Hero and
The vampire.
the not the vampire, but where is it? Butcher.
Yeah, I suppose
But-
if you have the butcher waiting a turn, deploying the butcher, getting a token.
Yeah, like you're not really worried about the Butcher, like getting hit by a blocker or something in this matchup, honestly.
Mm-hmm.
All right. So Connor's going to go and swing in for 6. So
This-
this is definitely the aggressive draw that he wants.
Yeah, this is the type of start he needs to. We have to put Chad to a low life total, so that way by the time he hits the secure the waste, Connor can either play around it or he can keep pressuring Chad even after his board gets wiped.
Mm-hmm.
And Chad here certainly does have to sweat a little bit as to how he's going to deal with the situation, because even if he takes care of the Scourge Devil here, Scourge Diva, he still has a fair amount of damage in play. I suppose that's the best thing he can play is the Deputy of Tenention, because it allows him to block and takes care of the Scourge Diva.
Connor has a removal spell if he wants to cast it, which
I think
might
you
be
do
worthwhile.
Here. Yeah. Just cast that again, that a little bit of additional damage.
Well, he also gets a token off of the Rampage.
He does get a token.
Yeah. There we go. And swinging in for 5, 6, 7, 8, putting Chad down to 4.
Yep, and now next turn Connor doesn't even have to commit his entire board to attacking if he wants to play around the Settle Wreckage.
Mm-hmm. You can just swing with, like, Gutter Bones and a token.
I think you swing with Gutter Bones and 2 tokens, just that way if he has a single enchantment removal. However,
Ooh. Ooh.
that
That,
is how you play into the Settle Wreckage.
that feels horrible.
And Connor doesn't even really get that much value off of the Settle Wreckage because he plays 2 basic lands.
Yeah.
So, not a fan.
No. Like, he basically had that one
Yeah.
covered, and
I
he
think
just
if
got way too aggressive.
I think if Chad stabilizes, it's all gonna be because of this turn. Because if he had just even kept the Scourge Diva here, he would feel a lot better.
Yeah. Alright.
Alright, he has his enchantment. That's something.
Head back over to Chad. See what he has. Now Chad is still at 4.
Yeah, he's certainly not completely safe. Shalai, though, the card we didn't mention, but she feels pretty strong right now.
Mm-hmm. It's a good blocker. It shuts off Theater's ability.
Which is pretty good right now. Also shuts off Soren's uptick, which is relevant since Connor has it in his hand. Well, it shuts off dealing damage from it.
Mm-hmm. Like, Connor has the option to play both of the Dreadhorde Butchers
Mm-hmm.
to get one of them to go in. And it looks like that's what he's going to do.
Well, he can kill the Shalai if he wants to. Because when he attacks, he can just use the Butcher to kill the Shalai, and he gets him for 2. So this feels fairly strong.
How is he able to kill the Shalai?
Doesn't Butcher deal damage to any target?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Equal to its power.
Equal to its power. So he blocks the Shalai, and then it deals 2 damage to it. Oh, it's when it deals damage.
Yeah.
It's not an attack trigger.
No.
That would be so much better.
Sorry, that's why I was a little confused.
Oh, my bad. I was getting confused there myself.
So now this one can.
Yes.
And if Chad didn't draw his other land, it's not going to be good for him.
Chad's thinking.
Mm-hmm.
If he can deal with that 2 right now,
Okay.
he has a land. Okay.
He's got a Gideon.
Okay, so he can give the Shalai life
Vigilance or lifelink
or
or
indestructible.
indestructible. It's probably not that last one. So we're going to choose Vigilance.
Okay. So he's going to try to get a little aggressive here. I don't dislike it.
Yeah, he does need to close this game out.
Yeah. It may be at this point he realizes that he's not trying to win that win the late game, and he's just going to try to close out the game with his Gideon and his Shalai.
Yeah, Connor really needs a removal spell of some sort right here.
Mm-hmm.
He is able to Celebrant plus tick down his Sorin
Okay.
to be able to get back another Butcher.
That is strong here.
That will allow him to attack in with both. Trigger the Celebrant when Shalai blocks. So Chad would be taking 1 off of that. And the small Butcher would be getting in for 1.
Yes.
And Shalai would be dying. Because Connor can't use the Butcher to hit Chad.
Otherwise he would.
Yeah.
Obviously. Okay.
So I definitely see tick down Sorin, go ahead and get Butcher, and then swing in with both Butchers.
I like that play here. It also can matter that Connor will gain some amount of life off of that play.
Yeah.
Or that.
I don't like the fact that he's not getting a Butcher back.
Yeah, Chad's now reading it, and he's like, oh, you could have got a Butcher back. Alright. Deals 2 damage to that. Shalai is dead. The 2/2's dead.
Yep. Connor gains 4 life.
Connor does gain 4 life. Chad should lose a life. Oh,
Yeah,
no.
so now Connor wants to tick up.
Yes.
Oh yeah, and because of Celebrant.
Or
All right.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's the phase you do that in.
Okay. All right. Connor's catching his trigger.
Oh man. There we go. Quality.
Yeah, because if you take up the Sorin, then it puts Chad in a situation where, like, he needs to get rid of the Sorin,
He needs to get rid of the Sorin plus
And-
everything else that's in play.
but he also has to somehow get rid of the Celebrant without it dying.
He also has to get rid of the Theater of the Horrors. So
Yeah.
I
So
think
I-
he's left at 0 outer at that point. Oh well, I think that Connor's still gonna win it.
Yeah, like definitely a misplay against the potential settle, and which turned into an actual settle.
Yeah, feels bad for Chad though that he was able to get such a good play off and he's still kind of just losing this game.
Mm-hmm. I think he's hoping that Connor actually casts something so that he can absorb and not die.
So Connor has
He has a mortify. Like
Has a mortify.
Connor can't even do anything.
now at this point he can play around either settle or a single removal spell. Like a bounce spell or exile target thing. Or he can just activate the Theater
Yep.
Force that I forgot about. So that's going to be game 2. And now we're going to go to game 3 with Chad on the play.
All right. I'm really not looking forward to the matchup against Chad.
Oh, yeah. What are you playing? You're playing Grixis Discard?
Yep.
Ooh.
So if I'm able to actually get discard in my opener,
Uh-huh.
then great.
Yeah.
But we did a couple play games, and that did not happen.
Ooh.
It was just like, all right, here's some ops, here's some removal that does nothing. Really wanted to draw those lava coils against the control matchup.
I mean, at least it gets better games 2 and 3 for you.
Oh, yes.
So,
It's essentially like 8 cards out, 8 cards in.
okay. So, like the traditional thing you do in control matchups where you just like, you're both playing control deck and you're like, here are these cards, they're bad, cut them.
I do love the that Angrath's Rampage and Bedevil can still hit his creatures, because
Yes.
usually that's what you guys do. You're like, hey, you took out all your removal.
I'm honestly really hoping a Grixis deck is good because I've been playing a lot of blue-white and Jeskai and other decks like that recently, but I also have a big spot for Grixis decks. They're really fun to play, and when they're good, like, I feel like they're fairly rewarding for playing well and, you know, just kind of having a fun game plan.
You know who also likes Grixis decks?
Who?
Joe.
Joe
Grixis
does
Joe.
like Grixis Joe. He has Grixis Joe. I
He had like 3 of them brewed up.
I also forgot that Joe really likes him because he's just always like, I have this red-white deck, or you can play this Naya deck, or you can play this red deck.
He's started to find his love for Mardu.
Yeah. But no, Grixis is a fun combination. Corey, also the person who runs the stream, also loves Grixis decks.
Alrighty. Looks like our players are just about ready, assuming nobody has to mulligan.
That's a high expectation given how the
Yeah.
night's going.
If you're just tuning in, we are playing some War of the Spark Legal Standard, which you probably won't see until Thursday on Arena or next Friday on paper.
Yep.
But we're trying some things out this week. Keeping spicy.
Doing a little testing. Usually we would do this type of thing maybe a little bit earlier than we did. We didn't get to do a stream last week, but doing it this week, showing off some new standard cards, new deck ideas that some of us have. Words. I can't say words.
All right. So Chad just passes with 2 lands, heads over to Connor. He plays a hero, Precinct 1, and Connor's going to cast something that'll get absorbed, but he'll get a token.
He will get a token, though this is the type of start that is better for Chad, whereas last round we got to see a really good start for Connor. This start feels good for Chad because Connor's not really pressuring that hard. Alright, gain 3, lose 2, goes 21. All that checks out. Just gonna slam a Shalai. Shalai actually not being too terrible in this matchup here.
It's a good blocker, and it's keeping damage off of Chad.
And Connor would otherwise play the Sorin here, but he's forced to use one of his removal spells to take care of the Shalai.
Which is also giving him tokens off of hero, so it's not that bad.
Just reading a thing.
All right. So
Wait.
Chad decides to Cleansing Nova.
Did he Ingress Fury away the Shalai?
Oh. All right. Well, unfortunately, we are
A bit far.
a bit far away, but yeah, that is a good note.
I was like, I feel like that's a target card.
Yeah, targets the player.
Oof.
That's why you need the Bedevils.
Yeah, that's fair. I wasn't thinking about Shalai when we were first talking about it.
Mm-mm. All right. Connor has another hero, or he brought back hero with Soren.
Mm-hmm. Now he's going to plus. Gain some life.
What are we going to play? Gutter Bones?
Sure. Looks like he's holding another Ingreth's Fury in hand. And a Bedevil. So he has a very reactive hand. And I believe that turn he cast the Ingreth's Fury, he also had a Bedevil, so he could have used that.
Mm-hmm. Oh. We know now.
We know now. Chad just holding a very heavily reactive hand. He has 2 absorbs. It looks like he has a copy of the exile creature and then an opt. And Connor just getting a bunch of value off the reanimation effect of this Soren.
Do we got a settle? We do have a settle.
Yeah. It's not an amazing settle, but it gets a little pressure off, and getting Hero Precinct 1 off the board is very strong.
All right. And Chad's going to opt.
Yeah. Opt on instep. Hoping to find... I think at this point he'd like to just see a Planeswalker.
I thought he already has a Teferi in hand.
If he has a Teferi in hand, then... I suppose he's trying to wait till he either has the board more handled or he can hold up a counterspell for a Bedevil.
Mm-hmm.
So at that point he's probably just looking for more lands.
So he does have the option to Deputy and then hold up
An Absorb?
an Absorb.
Okay.
Or he just slams a Teferi and that allows him to untap.
Yep. Slams a Teferi, says kill it now. Connor goes, I'll kill it now. Chad draws a card. This still allows him to hold up an Absorb, and it does eat a card out of his opponent's hand. Ooh.
Choosing instead of holding up Absorb to get to be able to blast.
Blaststone. I believe that's the card name.
Yep.
Either way, he's building up his blasting. The man is going to blast. So, Footlight Fiend hits the board, Soren upticks, Chad's down to 13, Connor's up to 23, and pass him back. Chad's going to pump that up to 2 in hopes of killing the vampire on his opponent's side. And...
What are you going to do, Chad?
looks like he's still just kind of has his counterspells in hand and has picked up... Okay, so he's going to exile something from the opponent's board, hitting the Soren, holding up the counterspell for any removal spells that might be pointed at this.
Mm-hmm. And also the Blast Zone if he needs to get rid of the Celebrant.
Now, it does look like Connor does have 2 removal spells for Chad's creature here, though.
I think we're probably going to see an Absorb.
Yeah, I feel like you really just kind of want to put off dealing with that Soren for now.
But he's back.
He's back. He's at full loyalty again. I don't know that Connor has any more creatures to reanimate, but just pinging isn't terrible.
And swinging in for 2. We'll get there.
He's getting
Slow
there
and steady.
very slowly, but at the same time, his board is just kind of a pain for Chad to deal with.
Mm-hmm.
He can destroy both of the Cruel Celebrants, which helps a little bit, but the Soren will bring them back after a time, so... Looks like Connor's also now playing around the Settle the Wreckage.
Okay. I think Chad's just going to
Pop the blast.
Pop the blast.
It just destroys the 2 drops. There you go. All right, Chad's
2
explaining.
exactly.
Man, that land would be a lot better.
Yeah. So Chad's going to lose 4
Yes.
from the triggers, and then take 1.
Yes.
And Connor's going to gain 1 thanks to Soren's ability.
Connor is gaining a lot of life here.
Yes.
It's not. It doesn't matter a ton in this matchup, but
going to bring back the Celebrant again.
yeah, this Soren is doing a lot of work here.
It is.
Like
The plus is, but it's mainly just you get to put 2 counters on it.
yeah, I'm actually a huge fan of this card. Like, we got to see it be good against the aggressive decks, and now it's being really good against the control deck.
All right. Chad contemplating his life.
All right, he's got a Teferi. Oh, a Lyra.
Okay. That's a good one.
That is a good Planeswalker. If Connor doesn't have anything to deal with it, it's going to be quite the problem. Hey, he drew something.
Devil. And it's going to see an absorb.
Okay. Chad's going to absorb it, go up to 3 life, gain 3 life, go up to 11. So, this Soren can survive 1 hit from the Lyra.
Yep.
And, Chad's getting to untap with the Lyra, which is always a great feeling if you put on the control deck.
Mm-hmm.
Swings 5, put the Soren down to 1. And I believe Connor, one of the last 2 cards in his hand is another Soren. So even when that one dies, he still does get to deploy another one. But Chad's going to have a huge life total buffer at that point.
Yeah. This theater will probably do a little bit of work.
Yeah, this Theodore is going to allow, if Connor's able to kill that Lyra, this is going to be the way that he grinds away that additional life that Chad has gained. Just swing in for 1, wants to keep his Cruel Celebrant alive. And gonna see an end of turn draw 2. Not terrible. And not. Look at all this card advantage and card selection.
Then we might see a flashback. Or a jump start.
He can draw so many cards this turn. It's like he's playing a modern deck.
No, chooses
Nope.
not to.
Now, that's probably not a great sign if you're Connor here, if your opponent's choosing not to draw 2 cards. They're like, nah, I'm good.
Blast Zone is not very good against Connor's board.
No, Connor has a 1-drop, a 2-drop, and a 3-drop. Though, I suppose you really only care about the 3-drop at this point.
Yeah.
And I think Chad's just going to pass back end of turn, pump this up to 3. Pump up to 3. He's going to take 1 damage from the Theater Fours. Theater's going to exile a land. Not great, but not terrible. That draw was terrible, though.
It was not ideal. Swinging in for 1.
He can redeploy the Soren if he really another Soren if he wants to, but I don't think he wants to just throw it out on the board where it's just going to instantly go down to 1 loyalty.
Yeah, it doesn't seem great here. Like, he can bring back another Celebrant, but I don't know that's
I don't know
worth
if
it.
that's a great game plan. I think that you want to have Soren as one of your ways to rebuild after all said and done.
All right.
Looks like Chad doesn't care about the Theater Fours and instead just going to go for the 2 combat celebrants.
Yep. So Chad's going to take 4.
Yep.
Connor's going to
gonna
gain 2.
2. Okay. So Chad has quite a many combat steps away from winning with that Lyra Dawnbringer.
Mm-hmm.
But he doesn't need to win quickly. He can take his time at this point.
Plus drawing 2 cards there.
Yeah.
Like, he's way ahead on card advantage now.
Swing 5. Now we're
I'm a
playing a
little
bit of a race game.
surprised he didn't go ahead and deploy that Gideon and plus it on
To
the
give it
Lyra to give it
vigilance.
vigilance. Yeah, that seems like a misplay.
I think he's now upticking and give it indestructible, but yeah, I think that's a misplay.
Because it only affects his turn. It's not until his next turn.
Oh, it's not. Okay.
No.
That is much less exciting than I thought it was.
Mm-hmm.
Alright, we're getting Surge. You have it in play, but I don't... I think you just really need to kill that Liar Downbringer.
Okay, gonna absorb.
Okay. Chad think it's worth the counterspell. Now we're gonna see a Sorin hit the battlefield, and it might reanimate the Scourge Shiva. Looks like that's what's gonna happen.
And I think we're gonna need to do some damage to that Gideon.
Yeah, I think that you gotta get that chip, that 2 damage in here. Play a land, sure. No?
No, he hasn't dealt
He
damage.
hasn't dealt damage, yep. Alright,
You gotta hit that Gideon. Like,
yeah.
Just leave that land there.
You are not racing your opponent right now. Connor feeling the pressure of the situation.
Ugh.
Yeah.
That just feels incorrect.
Yeah. At this point, your opponent's gaining 5 life a turn. Like, I don't think that you can afford to try to race them. And then next turn, he can just use the Gideon to give the Lyra vigilance. Yep.
Okay. It looks like Gideon wasn't supposed to be at 6.
No,
It's at
he
6 this
played
turn.
it and then upticked it and accidentally put it to 6 instead of 5.
Okay.
And then he was like, I'm upticking it, but it's staying the same loyalty. Because I'm bad.
So it does look like Chad has a Cleansing Nova. So next turn, he does have the option of going Indestructible. Well, doesn't look like he does now because he has more. Connor has the Mortify.
Okay.
But he could have went Indestructible, wiped the board.
Mm-hmm. Okay, well, now Connor can go ahead and answer the Gideon and answer the Lyra if he would like to, provided Chad has no counter spells.
Oh, we're about to see. Looks like he's going to draw 2 cards.
Yep. What's he discarding? A Plains? Sure. We draw a counter spell? I don't think we did.
Chooses Creature. Oh, okay. So he can just go ahead and attack Gideon with all of them? That's not all of them.
No, that's...
Yeah. Connor, you might have misplayed that one a little bit.
Yeah, so he could
Because he could have just paid for Ping Chad.
then try to
Mortify.
If it gets counterspelled, then you kill the Lyra, but if it doesn't get counterspelled, then you get to kill the Gideon as well.
Yeah.
Now we're going to see a Cleansing Nova hit the board. Connor's left with nothing in hand. He gets,
It's to Ping 2 and Drain 2.
Yep, so Chad will go to 15, Connor will go to 36. And Chad has the Gideon that is going to slowly start chipping away. Next turn, he can also use the Gideon to exile the Theater Fours if he would like, provided. Well, I was going to say provided his opponent doesn't use it to ping down the Gideon. But this Angel will prevent that. No, it won't.
Theater, I thought was only your turn.
I think the ability is anytime. Yep.
Hey guys. Oh, okay. Did you catch the Mortify? Your turn. Okay.
Okay.
Okay. Thank you.
Okay. I got confused. I was like, you can activate anytime. Then I was like, oh, you can't cast the spell. Duh. Okay.
Okay. So yeah, activation is any time, but you can only play the stuff off of it all on your turn.
Yep. Alright, so Scenic Roll Cellar right here. But this July's putting in some work right now.
Yeah, Connor had the opportunity to get that Gideon off the table.
Mm-hmm.
And it's going to hurt him now not being able to.
Yeah, he's gonna have to pay that price. And Connor's not going to be able to get in any damage anytime soon to cast anything off the Theater Force.
Yeah, Chad now has the opportunity to go ahead and exile that theater.
Yeah.
He's going to lose the Gideon in response if he chooses to. So I guess he's just going to go beat down first.
I don't hate that.
Yeah, like Connor's not able to get in the damage on Chad yet.
Yeah.
More Tases.
Oh man, that feels
He's got
not
a
great.
haster, but it's
Okay.
not going to do anything right now. Okay.
Okay.
So, yeah, nothing that Chad could really do against the Celebrant.
Mhm.
Because if he blocks, then lose the life to Mortify.
Yeah. All right. So now Connor has some stuff going on. I'd like to see. I think that Chad might have to consider exiling Theater Force if he has any way to deal with the creatures in play.
And I believe he does.
Okay.
I believe he has a Cleansing Nova in hand.
With the Taste in play, he will
That's going to
lose
be 4.
Yeah.
I think he's still alright.
Yeah. I think he's perfectly fine with that. Like, he can afford to go to a reasonably low life total. It looks like he's not going to exile Theater Force, though.
Mm-hmm. Not going to Cleansing Nova either.
I'm a little curious what his plan is here. Alright.
Unless I misremembered and it's a settle.
If it's a settle, that's...
Yeah, that's a
Big
completely
game.
different ball game.
Yeah. If he's able to exile some of these creatures, it's a lot better than destroying them, seeing the Teysa and the Combat Celebrant.
Okay,
Cool,
so it
so-
was a settle.
Okay.
All right. Not the biggest deal, because Connor can go ahead and ping with Theater and go ahead and play that other Teysa.
That... Has he already played a land for turn?
I don't know.
Hopefully he does. Sure.
'Kay.
Okay. So plays the land, plays a Teysa. So basically the same border position we saw the previous turn.
Chad also needs a way to win the game.
He-
Like, he has this Gideon just slowly getting in. It might have to be the way that he wins this.
Yeah. Winning the game is a problem for him here. Like, he has a lot to work through, and it looks like he's gonna exile the Teysa. Okay. Also appears Chad's hitting a lot of lands. He has 10, 11, 14 in play, and
Yeah.
some number in his graveyard. And now we see Bedevil and Connor's pile.
Yeah, I think that Gideon's going bye-bye.
Yeah. Looks like he's just gonna double ping it to death.
Yeah, Connor did not sequence that correctly.
Yeah.
He should have swung in at the Gideon, saw what happened, and then...
And then
Okay, so he does have enough mana to bedevil, though.
Okay, sure. But given that he still would have dealt one more damage to Chad.
Mm-hmm.
Chad would love to see something like a Teferi right now.
I got another Theater.
God, yeah.
Who's going to mill first?
Activate that, mortify that, get back my Kroll Celebrant, play another Theater. Should play a land.
I'm not sure if it's correct to play another Theater. Like, that, there is an actual possibility that he mills out faster.
You're not wrong. So, yeah. And you have enough card advantage flowing, so just not going to play that. Untap, drop, Teferi, that's a good one. That's a draw card. That's another Teferi.
Those are 2 Teferis.
You were like always like, man, I don't have enough Teferi in play, so I need more Teferi.
I could see you saying that.
I did say that. All right, bounce that. Sure, draw a card. Sure. Kill it. All right.
And Chad's going to get to draw some more cards. All right. So Connor picked up a hero.
Did pick up a hero. Though, not at its best right now. The other Theater of Horrors is pretty strong here. Oh wait, no, that's the same Theater of Horrors. That's how bouncing works. So, I'm going to give them 3 more minutes, but once we hit 2 minutes, I'm going to tell them they have 5 minutes left. Or if we want to tell them they have 5 minutes left.
They give him a bit of an extension.
Yeah, since we didn't mention it earlier.
Okay. You have about 5 minutes left.
All right. Bam. Just don't worry about it.
Okay.
We know. They
We
know.
know.
Everyone that matters knows. I don't know if we ever told Chad there's a time limit here. I just realized that. I don't know. He'll figure it out. He just figured it out. He's like, how am I going to win this game now? I don't know that I can. I legitimately can't tell who's ahead at this point.
Yeah.
Like, that Theater of Horrors is a real big problem for keeping the Teferi around. Lyra's good. She's really good if she survives. Untapping, drawing.
A Bedevil.
Bedevil. Of course it's a Bedevil. Does Chad have a counterspell for it, though?
First, you have to deal damage to your opponent, Connor.
Connor is just always so excited about his Theater of Horrors.
He tapped with all of his black mana.
Okay, no counterspell from Chad's out here.
All right. Get a dude.
Yeah, I got my dude.
And who are we going to hit? We're just going to hit Chad to the face.
I think we hit Chad to the face at this point.
Okay.
Teferi's a huge problem, but Chad's so low right now.
Mm-hmm.
Just gonna go full face. That's 4 damage here.
Yep.
Does Chad have the settle? He do have the settle. I believe all of the basics are in play, so I'm just gonna cleanly exile.
Yep.
Connor's board.
And he's got the theater to just keep pinging every turn, so.
He does have the theater to keep pinging. Until that gets removed from the board, Chad's not gonna be able to completely stabilize.
Hey, it's another Teferi.
I'm gonna play my Teferi again. Alright, now. Get ready for a trick. I'm gonna bounce your Theater of Horrors again. Oh man. This is how Magic was meant to be played. You got 1 Teferi drawing cards, 1 Teferi also drawing cards. You got a bunch of lands in play.
Get rid of a token.
Sure. Like, gets rid of its token, draws him a card. Doesn't care about bouncing Theater of Horrors at this point. That's fine. Your opponent has a ton of mana. He doesn't care. Gideon.
Get another Gideon.
Sure. That's a fine play.
Gotta search.
Okay. I'm going to play my sorcery speed things. I'm going to pass the turn. I am at 6 life.
Looks like Connor went just straight at Chad.
Yeah. I think that's what his game plan is at this point. Just
All right.
go
2
face.
more Chad.
How many activations does he have? 1, 2,
3.
3 activations. So he activates it 3 times, put Chad to 1 life, and then
Yep.
yeah.
I think that's all you can do.
almost just like activating it once or sorcery speed, just to play the Isolate Chapel. I don't think it matters at all, but it could.
All right. Got a plus. Got a plus. I feel like Chad needs to tuck that theater.
You know, he really does. Alright, here's a Gideon. Swing 4. Yeah. Okay.
What we got?
Jean
Searching.
searching for a card. Is that card good enough? I don't know what that is.
That's not going to do it.
Literally only one thing matters at this point. It's that Theater Force. Sure, exile that. Okay. Connor picking up his mana. He's like, I'm gonna do some things.
Let me ping you.
Chad just like
Let this end.
Chad's like, I see what you're trying to do here, but I want to figure it out. This game is a puzzle, and I'm here to solve it. Okay? Yeah. Yes. So I'm pretty sure Connor kills Chad on his turn. If he doesn't, we'll tell him they're on turns.
Yep.
But I'm pretty sure that we just go ahead and...
Yep. We're in turns.
Hell yeah. Heck yeah. Chad's gonna get attacked for 1. It's gonna get exiled. I'm gonna play a Theater Force. Do you have a response?
All right.
You do not have a response.
We're finally done.
Oh my god, that match.
All right. That was a
That was a
heck
thing.
of a match.
Alright, I'm gonna switch headsets with you so I can be in that
Sure
chair.
thing. And I'm about to head down there anyways to battle Chad.
Now, I don't know enough about sports to say whether or not what you said is true, but oof for the Lakers and Chad. Alright, so for the next round. No, that's not what we want to do. It's loading. Alright, so next round we're going to have Kirby, who is the last person that we have not seen the deck list for, going up against Chad, who we just saw on Blue-White Control. Kirby's going to be on a Grixis discard deck this time around. Something similar to what I was playing in the first round, only with a more of a sub-theme based around discard spells. And let me look around. Looks like he has more removal spells, and he's playing Sweet New Planeswalker. The black one. That one. Davriel. I couldn't make out his name completely because I was looking at a smaller picture, and his little smoke can thing was covering it up. So, this deck, like I said, it's a Grixis Control shell that also runs Davriel to capitalize on your opponent to have a lower hand count, as well as Mastermind's Acquisition to tutor for both from your deck and your sideboard. And your sideboard has Deliver Unto Evil, Murmuring Mystic, Commence the Endgame, Ritual of Suit, Expansion Explosion, Thief of Sanities, and Elder Spell, Cry of the Carnariums. It's tutor targets to just kind of give you a little bit more of a more variety from your tutor. From what I've heard, the game 1 against the Blue-White Control, it's not great for Kirby, but after sideboard, it starts to feel a lot better for him because he has access to the 3 dresses in his sideboard, as well as the Thief of Sanities, which is just an insane card against control decks, and in general, really. It looks like we're getting Connor back in the booth here.
Hello.
Who was able to pull out that game at the last moment possible. Not quite the last moment possible, but pretty late. That was a match.
Yes, it was. It was tiring.
It looked tiring.
I wish I didn't throw game 2 to a settle.
Yeah,
But what are you gonna do?
It happens. You know, you can't.
Just read the most recent comment, Chad.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah, I briefly mentioned that. I was like, I don't know anything about sports, but that sounds bad for both of them.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, I was talked about Kirby's deck briefly. It's just kind of Grixis Control with Davriel and Mastermind's Acquisition.
Gotcha.
Oh, he's also playing. I missed this, but he's playing 2 of Enter the God Eternals, which is Some people say it's
Card's
really
neat.
good. Some people say it's mediocre. I think the card seems neat. So.
I think having an option to deal damage to a creature
Mhm.
and like gain life in those colors is very strong.
Yeah. All right. Well, I talked about this briefly already, so let me see how close they are already. We might just go and swap over them early, unless there's anything you want to add about the Grixis deck.
Not so much. Earlier, we were talking about the comparison to the deck you played,
Mm-hmm.
and how Kirby said I think he's on like what 20-something spells,
Yes.
and your deck before sideboard was at 18.
Yeah.
So augurs were
Augurs,
not really that great.
they were not that great in that deck. I've whiffed more than I've hit, which feels like it's not correct, but still, I feel like the amount of spells is too low for that card.
Yeah. In the deck like that one, I think Omen Speaker is a better card because you're looking for just like because you can find a creature, you can find a planeswalker, you can find whatever. Like you just don't draw the card like you do with Augur or put it in your hand, but
Yeah.
you find the card and it gets to stay there. Augur, whatever you look at, gets put on the bottom, and like it's some real punishing things when you don't hit with it.
I also find it kind of like a flavor fell whenever I see Nicol Bolas's with the Augur of Bolas, and I'm like, all right, put this on the bottom.
Yep, that is a pretty big flavor fill.
All right. God, clicked on the wrong thing.
All right, looks like they're ready to go.
You guys are good whenever. All right, now, hopefully this match doesn't take as long.
Look, it wasn't my fault.
No, I'm not blaming you. It's blue-white control, my dude.
Yeah.
Like, he had 2 Teferis.
Yeah,
At one
he
point.
knows he made some misplays. I advised him that when he had the opportunity, he should have tucked my theater when it still had Mortify under it.
Yes.
Instead, he ticked up for turn.
I think there were a couple small little points that we point out. There was also a turn where he could have given the Lyra Vigilance.
Yeah, he called that out immediately.
Okay.
It was when he played the Gideon post-combat.
Mm-hmm.
This is his first stream with us, right? Oh my
Yeah.
god, it found a spell! 100% win rate!
Card does feel really good when you find a spell.
It does. It really does.
Yes, this is Chad's first stream with us.
Right.
I felt bad because I realized when I called time that I didn't know if he knew that we had times here.
He did mention he was a little nervous. I was like, don't be nervous. Like, just pretend that. I told him, I was like, there's no one watching. And I'm like, well, I mean, there's some people watching. So
Like, sometimes we have higher accounts, but yeah, like, it helps. Like, I also think that doing it here helps out a little bit when you, like, hit a bigger event and you get put on feature match. Because there's a lot less at stake here.
oh my god. I mean, were you at that event when I had a feature match playing Enduring Ideal? And I blood mooned myself out of the game? Or I'm sure you heard
I was
about it.
at the event. I did not see the match.
Yeah. Harley gave me crap for, like, months.
I know my first feature match I got to hear about for about a month with the double Grimflare.
Oh, yeah, I remember that.
Yeah.
I think I was working on the road when that happened, yeah?
Yeah, because
Was that Richmond?
that was Richmond, GP Richmond. No, that was
No,
an
it was
open.
open.
Open Richmond.
We were in that tiny room. I remember that.
Yeah,
That's when I found out I have an allergy to bananas.
that's a very specific thing. Don't eat the banana.
I wanted a milkshake. They got me a chocolate shake from Starbucks that was base banana.
Ooh.
And, yeah.
It's a bad time.
It was all right. I got to sit down for a little bit.
Okay, that's fair. Hey, it's a Davriel.
So he is... Kirby told me earlier. It is... His static is if at the beginning of their opponent's upkeep, if they have 1 or less cards,
I believe that is correct.
or is it 2?
Let me look here.
I think it's 1.
Davriel...
1 or fewer, yeah.
1 or fewer, and he can -1 up to 3 times to get some cards out of your opponent's hand. Chad just doesn't want to see hit the board because it can make him discard 3 cards.
Yeah, that's the control deck. That's not something you want to happen to you.
Mm-hmm. Right now, Chad he's getting beat down a little bit by these Augur Boluses, but he certainly isn't in that much danger and can just take his time in establishing his
Yeah.
hand.
Oh, Kirby is not playing Discover, so he can't do the neat bounce the enchantment card
Nope.
spell thing stuff.
Also, talking Kirby a little bit, he has more dead cards on his main board than Chad does by a fair amount.
Mm-hmm.
Which
What is that card you just discarded? It's not Cast Down, is it?
No, that's Ritual of Suit.
Okay.
The board wipe for creatures with CMC 3 or less, I believe.
Yep.
Yeah. Kirby has so many cards in hand.
Yeah, he does. He hit with both augers.
Yeah.
Although, nothing's going to happen for a while. Chad's got double absorb in hand, as well as a settle, so... I don't know. Chad's going to try and match him on cards.
He's gonna activate his Memorial Flower end of turn.
Sorry.
Bless you.
Sorry, chat.
Um,
The window's being open is rough.
that's
Yeah, that's alright.
reasonable.
I'd rather be cold than, Or
Then
I'd rather be cold
stuffy.
than not stuffy.
So correctly Memorial is one of those things that in the early game can be a little bit awkward if you're trying to match your opponent on like Counter Wars or something, but Kirby's not playing a high amount of counter spells, so that's not a concern Chad has to worry about.
Right. I will say, with the amount of removal that Kirby has, if he can get around all of the counter magic, Chad's not going to have a way to finish the game.
That is reasonable.
Yeah, there's just a sheer amount of... Like, he has such a limited... I think he has, 2 Lyras and, 2 Shalais?
That's in his sideboard, yes.
Yeah, so, main deck, he's trying to win off of pretty much Gideon and Teferi ult.
Yeah.
And that's really not going to happen when your opponent is playing the card Nicol Bolas, as well as the card Nicol Bolas, and another card with Nicol Bolas' stuff on it.
And, yeah.
Yeah, it just won't work.
You got... They gave us a lot of removal spells for planeswalkers and creatures and everything.
Yeah, and I mean, most of us really saw that coming with them making so many planeswalkers in the set.
Which, I think that's a good call on them to make planeswalkers feel less hard to deal with. I was going to come up with a better way of saying that, but I couldn't.
Yeah. Chad opting to let the Teferi go instead of absorbing, since the Augur could kill it.
Yeah. And honestly, this Teferi you don't care about all that much. It does help that your opponent's playing blue, so it makes them play at sorcery speed, but you prefer to keep your counter spells for their threats or for protecting your Teferi.
Yep.
Your bigger Teferi.
Instep Glimmer, Kirby's going to let it go.
Yep.
Kirby just sitting there with
approximately 1,000 cards in hand.
a butt ton of removal. I think that's 3 Bedevils. I could be wrong, though. No, he only has 2. What's the other card? It's probably a Rampage.
Alright, another Teferi here. Just going to uptick.
That Teferi is surprisingly, strong just for, existing on the battlefield.
Yeah, that's fair. It makes your opponent play in a way that might not be optimal for them, and it can open up situations where you're able to untap and do something safely.
Yeah. Chad just not even trying to fight over these.
Yeah.
I think I would have fought over that one. Make Kirby use some more resources.
Actually, I don't disagree with you. I think that would have been a fine point to try to protect it.
Yeah.
You
knowing that, he's going to have a lot of answers for your Planeswalkers, yes. But at the same time, your counterspells are not going to do anything else. You have removal for the threats that he has, and Kirby doesn't seem to be playing a lot of counter magic. I don't see any, actually.
He's not playing any counter magic. Now,
it's all discard spells.
One thing I will say is Chad doesn't know that.
Fair. Oh, no, I think he did. I think he knew that he was playing Grixis discard.
Okay. I was going to say, if he didn't know that his opponent was on no counter magic, then...
Yeah. If he doesn't, then his plays make sense. But
Alright.
I at least knew the archetypes I was playing against. I didn't know complete lists.
Okay. Chad showing the most obvious absorb, but
yeah,
you gotta do what you gotta do.
What can you do?
It's gonna be a tutor here.
This looks like we're gonna try and bait that counter spell to resolve Nicol Bolas.
Well, so even if this resolves, he just gets a duress or a thought erasure.
Yeah, so he's gonna take it anyway.
So he casts a thought erasure here. This is gonna force an absorb from Chad here, unless Chad has multiple counter spells.
Well, I think it's more the fact that he want to protect the cards that are in his hand aside from the counter magic.
Yeah. Though if you have only the one counter spell, you might as well cast it just to gain the life. So. And he does. Now we're going to see a Nicol Bolas hit the battlefield, and that Nicol Bolas can answer that Teferi. So.
Get out of here, nerd. I am the god.
I think that Kirby here getting a play that rewards how patient he's been.
You know what I just realized?
What?
when you have your Japanese anime Nicoboluses, you can say I have the power of God and anime on my side. And if you don't do that in a competitive game of Magic,
I'll do it.
I will never talk to you again.
I'll do it. The mistake is to think I have dignity.
Are there any other cards, like Planeswalker cards, that say God on them? Is it
Planeswalkers.
just Nicobolus?
No, it's just Nicobolus.
Okay.
Though I believe he has multiple cards that refer to himself as a god. He's a
There's
bit.
God Pharaoh, yeah.
Yeah, he's a bit conceited at that one.
This one's got Dragon.
All right, Chad's hand. It's bad.
I will take the one card that interacts with me, that I care of.
I got my Nicobolus in play. That's all that really matters at this point.
Yep.
So,
Yep.
Despite what I said earlier before you got up here, with Kirby being slightly disadvantaged in Game 1, I think Kirby's in a pretty good spot right now.
Yeah. I do think that after sideboard, just like quickly glancing at Kirby's list, because he's playing like Masterminds, he's going to be leaving cards in his sideboard. I think Chad really gets to change gears after sideboard, and will probably stand a better chance. Like Kirby's still going to have the same suite of removal for the Planeswalker cards, and those will coincidentally also get the creatures. So like Rampage, Bedevil, and even God Pharaoh. I think it answers Shalai, and he's probably going to keep the card in anyway.
So Kirby is entering the God Eternals, his Agrovolus to get a 4/4 and gain some life and mill his opponent. Importantly, Chad milled over another Teferi here, so he's down to 2 Teferis left in his deck, I believe.
Where did the bolus just go? What? Did I miss it?
I missed where the bolus went.
The bolus is in the graveyard now. I don't know what happened.
I assume it was killed through something. I don't know what. But it's too late now. So we're gonna move on.
What is that bolus?
Oh, okay. 5 counters on it, and he used it to remove bolus. Sure.
Oh, I didn't even realize he had a Blast Zone out. Shit. I remember him playing it and just didn't catch it.
Yeah, that's kind of why I didn't pay attention to it either, because I'm like, it's a land, it's, it could be Search for Azcanta, but no, Blast
Speaking
Zone.
of, there's a Search for Azcanta. Blast Zone still hits the flip lands, don't they? Does it say permanents or does it say non-land?
Let's look real quick.
This is really relevant, actually. I also didn't realize that Blast Zone did not cascade down. It is actual Ratchet Bomb.
Yes. Which is very good. Well, like, very good for balance reasons.
Yeah. It's less good than I thought it would be.
Okay, destroy
non-land.
non-land. Okay.
Damn. Would have been so good. You can finally get rid of the control player's search. Gideon's swinging away.
Alright, so this Gideon is threatening to do something. Now he has a Search for Azcanta in play. Kirby has an active Search and an active Azcanta, the Sunken Ruin.
I do like that they made it to where a second copy is not necessarily redundant, because you still get to...
Yeah.
You essentially get to surveil one every upkeep.
Ooh. I recognize that.
There's the exact thing that just you described.
Yep. Alright, let's see. He's a Thought Erasure and a Thought Erasure.
We take the spell.
He's got to cast it.
We cast the spell.
He's going to take that settle.
We see the wreckage.
So Chad's out of gas here, but that Search for Azcanta is going to start getting him that advantage back. And they both have a Search for Azcanta going, but Chad has a Gideon in play.
I don't know where my phone is.
That's a thing you probably shouldn't lose.
That's probably downstairs.
That's probably downstairs. I know my phone's downstairs and dead.
Yeah, yours is sitting next to the setup.
Alright. Kirby's just going to chump block the Gideon here.
Not interested in taking 4.
Yeah. He's really hoping to find a way to deal with...
Oh, look, there it is.
Yeah.
We're about to see a storyboard moment. But
Shucks,
first...
you're right.
Well, technically no.
Well,
The correct storyboard moment would be Bolas killing Liliana, and then you
doing the thing to...
doing the Gideon sacrifice spell.
Yep.
Or whatever, yeah.
Alright, so we're going to see Mastermind's acquisition. How much mana does Kirby have access to? 1, 2...
He has enough to Masterminds,
And Duress, and then...
Duress, and play, yeah, so...
Alright, so... That's probably what we're going to see here. Does he have enough black mana?
Oh, yeah.
Okay.
Only 2 of his lands that he currently has don't tap for black.
Okay. Exactly how much black mana he'll need, then.
No.
Not exactly. Not. Sorry, he only needs
He has more than that. He's 2 over.
2, 3, 6. Okay. Kirby looking through a sideboard.
The only way he could mess that up, theoretically,
Mm-hmm.
in terms of tapping, is if he actually goes down the line,
Yeah.
I think.
Well, if he spends 2...
If he doesn't use both Steam Vents on not Thought Erasure, I think.
Mm-hmm.
I could be wrong, though. Like, I'm guessing at what the lands are. But I see 2 Steam Vents and everything else is a black land.
Alright.
Just put Orborg in the format. Problem solved.
Please, no.
Please no.
So I just realized even if he goes for the Mastermind's acquisition Duress, Chad probably doesn't have counterspell in hand, but he's more likely
He
to
can
find
still
out.
his Kanto, which is why I think he's playing it out into the open now.
Looks like we're not seeing that. We're seeing a Teferi get
We're
the
going to
play.
see a Teferi, and then we still get the Duress of the Teferi.
Okay, that's pretty good.
Oh, no. Oh, wait.
Draw 2 cards.
Okay.
Sure. Chad does the hand thing. He's like, I don't like it,
Bye, Gideon.
but you got it.
Bye, kids.
Alright, tutor Duress.
Dang them some cute hands. You know it. Look at them little fingers.
Alright.
Do you even do the Mastermind now? I think you wait because he can play a. What's the really cool card? Onto Evil, bring onto Evil or whatever. He has the opportunity to do that next turn.
And just bring back 4 cards.
Yeah, because what's Teferi gonna do? Tuck the Bolas that he can just get with his Kanta.
That's, that's...
Not really a great option. Like, you're better off leaving Bolas at 1.
Mm-hmm.
If anything, it's rough. Like, I hate the play Teferi, tick up, and then just lose the Teferi immediately.
Mm-hmm.
There's just not really a good option to bounce because Search is in play right now.
Yeah. Search for Escanta makes the Teferi tuck a lot worse.
Lax's Life, Joe has already played. He
did not great.
He didn't do that great. He might still be downstairs, like, playing some side games, though.
He's probably hanging out. I know he was excited for this format.
Yeah, if you want to catch his matches,
We'll be playing it again later, or you can watch the VOD.
we'll be doing a replay after the stream, and there's always the VOD that's on the channel as well.
Mm-hmm.
The other Joe? Do we have
No,
it?
don't.
Okay. I'm not going to question you.
Almost got us, Lax. Almost got us.
I don't know who it is.
So you're gonna ask, which Joe? And then Lax Life's gonna be like, Joe Mama, and he's gonna be like, ha ha ha.
Ha 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 ha.
I'm 12. It's gonna be a good time. Alright.
That's mean. Don't bully on the internet. I'm saying I don't know who Lax's Life is.
Okay. I know who Lax's Life is.
Okay.
You might recognize him from his cooking on Facebook.
Gordon Ramsay?
Ricky.
Ah. Alright, you can bully him. It's fine.
Alright.
Kirby picking up Expansion Explosion. So
Hey, that's a really strong card there.
we might have an explosive finish to this game here in a little bit. But I think Kirby wants to land the Wombo.
6, 7,
Give
8,
it to
9,
us,
10.
Kirby.
He's 1 mana away from killing Chad.
He's also just able to do Onto Evil
Yeah.
and copy it. And then pick up Expansion Explosion with the original copy.
Woo.
Right? Because
Yeah.
it's on resolution. You choose stuff.
Does it target? Let me look.
This is a good question.
Oh god, I got
He's
stuck in the
he's
top
the next
monitor.
tab.
Oh, he's the next tab. There
Yeah.
we go. Alright, deliver on to Evil.
Hey, you gotta pull up the thingy.
Pull up the thing.
This card is so neat.
The artwork's phenomenal also.
Bolas looks a little weird in the artwork, but I just love the style.
Yeah.
Choose up to 4 target cards in your graveyard. Okay.
So
we,
you'd have to.
We
target.
can't.
Okay, can't do that.
So he just goes for this, and then he does it next turn.
Yeah. Yeah.
And it looks like the yeet has yoted him out of this game.
All right. That was how you finish a game.
On the game 2.
All right, on to game 2. So let's see.
Let's pull up the old discardy boy.
Pull up the discard boy. So the thing about Mastermind's Acquisition is that you can bring the cards on the main board and you still are able to tutor for them, which is nice. The dresses obviously come in, and the thieves come in.
Elder Spell comes in. It's just it's a 2-mana spell that can kill Gideon and some Teferis along the way.
Expansion Explosion maybe. Maybe
Yeah,
it commits the end game.
Uh,
Well, how many bad cards do you have?
so
in your
here's
deck?
the thing. Here's
Yeah.
the thing. Because I play a lot of Team Wreck on Arena.
Yeah,
Expansion Explosion against a control deck is also
a counterspell.
a counterspell.
Yeah.
So it's important to remember that. It can also copy like a Glimmer. If he's got nothing going on, he can copy Chad's Glimmer during end step, and then untap with a bunch of cards in hand. I think you bring it in, although I understand leaving it in the side because you are a Mastermind's Acquisition deck. As far as that goes, yeah.
You have 8 cards that are bad in your main board. Debatably bad. So you have 2 cast downs, 2 lava coils, Turn to the God Pharaohs, and 2 Ritual of Suits that are suboptimal on the main board.
Wait, two. What was
sorry.
the third one?
Sorry, Ritual of Suits. And Ritual of Suit, Enter the God, Eternal, Lava Coil.
I think you can afford to keep Eternal in because it is 5 mana, make a 4/4. Does it hit Planeswalker, or is it just creature?
Just creature.
But you still get to do everything because you still have another target, right?
I'm not for sure about that. Let's
pull that one up real quick. It's right behind
there.
Nickel.
I keep thinking.
Oh, now I called him Nickel.
I keep thinking it's just more than Nicol Bolas. All right. Deals 4 damage to target creature, so you have to have a creature to deal damage to.
But he can always hit his own.
Yeah. All right. So that one's fine. But so if you cut the 6 cards, you bring in the dresses, you bring in Thief of Sanities, and then you bring in the Expansion Explosion.
Yeah.
Okay.
Because like you can always just have your 1-ofs in the main deck. So he might just main deck the Mystic, the end game. Because you still have the same. You actually have a higher rate of finding them just because you're putting them in your main deck.
Yeah.
He's not going to be milling you.
And Commits the End Game is a nutty card.
Yes.
All right. So gonna see that. Head out. Really enjoyed the stream. Enjoyed having you here.
Yep. Thanks for stopping by. Is it?
All right. Let's see. There are so many planes, and we're gonna swap to this deck now, though.
Yeah. Absolutely. This is you.
All right.
You do your blue white.
Dovin's Veto, good card. Sorcerer Spyglass, good card. So you got your histories here, which means you want to play the more aggressive plan against the control decks. I'm not sure if you want to do it against Grixis though. Like maybe you should. At which point you could bring those in and not worry about the top end.
I think seeing that Kirby is not a counter magic deck, I think you go the aggro route, bring in the histories.
Bring in the histories.
I honestly, I think everything except for Teu comes in.
Okay. Let's see. Wild cards.
Well, maybe not Deputy, because you just reset his bolus for him.
So you cut your 4 Stealaways, you cut your 3 Settle Wreckage, you cut your Settle Cleansing Novas. That's 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. And you can maybe cut down on your Teferis. I like the Dovin's Vetoes, the Sorcerer Spyglass, the History of Benalias. I don't actually think that you want to bring in all of your Angels, but some of your Angels would be fine.
I think at least Shalai.
I think Shalai is a good choice.
Probably 2 Shalais and maybe just 1 Lyra.
Okay. And probably cut down on your 3-drop Teferi, and just have more of an aggressive curve, and still have your big Teferi as like a late game finisher, and you still do have 8 counter spells plus Sorcerer Spyglass to interact with them. So you're playing kind of like a weird tempo deck.
Yeah, it's very off.
So I think that's the game plan, and I actually really like Chad after board now that I see it. So let's go ahead and pop on over there. Nope, that's not. Oh.
That one.
You guys are good whenever. They were laughing. Having a good old time.
I'm gonna do something.
You
can keep going.
Can you also, after you're done with the mouse, just... actually, I'll fix it once you're done.
Does this line up the way I want it to? Damn it. Okay. I was trying to zoom in on that little guy.
Oh, I see.
Alright. What were you saying, though?
I'll do it. I was going to update the who won game 1.
Oh, yeah.
Because I forgot to do that. Zip, zip. Alright, land go. And blue light control is exciting. Caress. All right,
All right, so you
history.
brought on the history.
Yeah.
I think the history's going bye-bye. I could see a reason for taking veto, but unless you are grabbing at the next turn, I don't think you give him a chance.
Yeah, I think just there you go, slamming out that out of the hand. Even if you have another discard spell and he Dovin's vetoes it, oh well.
Yep.
All right. He's holding up the Dovin veto, pass the turn.
I think we might see this card this game, so I'm going to get this one ready. Because I know I'm not going to know what it does.
You gotta click on the thing and then
Crap.
hit save.
Oh, no.
You're trying so hard.
Oh, no.
Close that. Save
Save
that.
image.
Click
There we
on. Yeah, there you go. And then,
Yes.
yeah.
Okay. And then I'm just going to do that in case I need to pull it up. That first line, I completely forgot about. So
Oh, that line. That line
that line's
matters.
good.
The fact that it's just this flash big man that draws you 2 cards and can't be countered in control mirror matches.
But it's not a man. Chat, can you guess which card we're talking about? It's a man, but not a man.
What is a
And
man?
it can't be countered.
What is a man, but also not a man?
Find out. Hopefully this game. Maybe a game 3. We don't know.
And they do not have a ton of time for game 3.
No, they do not. Their game 1 took about as long as my game 3 did.
Yeah.
How much time was left on the clock when I killed him?
You guys were right when we called.
Sub-minute?
So we gave you 3-minute extension, and you were at the end of 3-minute extension.
Okay.
So you went about 53-minute match.
Neat. Just a little play land go.
It's like the really big problem with like the blue-white decks that don't have a great way of finishing out the game is, boy,
Yep.
your time.
Bedevil has also really changed this format, I think.
Mm-hmm. But I will.
If it was Dreadbore, blue-white would still be on top of the format.
Mm-hmm.
But
I think also just all this thought erasure. The fact that it's just a main boardable discard spell that hits anything.
I thought for sure when Kirby said he was playing Grixis discard,
Mm-hmm.
I was convinced he was going to be playing Unmoored Ego in his main board as at least a one of, or masterminding for it, and it's actually not even in the 75. I'm a little sad.
Nope. Unfortunately not.
I'm surprised there's not one.
The card's really... I think it's good to have that type of effect in Standard.
Mm-hmm. And, like, it's balanced. You replace the cards that you take out if they're in their hand.
Mm-hmm. It kind of punishes the deck that are being greedy in how many win conditions they're having.
Yeah.
Like, you can't just... If your opponent's playing that and your only win condition is Teferi, you're not going to have a great time.
I wanted to be the Scumlord that was main decking 4 and just go up against a blue-white control deck and be like,
Here's my thing.
I'm going to name Teferi Hero of Dominaria. They're in your colors. Take 4 of them out of your library.
All right.
If there's more, I'm calling a judge.
So, Chad just going to go ahead and counter off the Mastermind's acquisition. Usually I don't like countering the tutor, but this is one of those few times I think it's correct, too.
Earlier in the game, too. Is
Yeah.
worth countering. Now, how cute would it be? He plays Little Teferi and bounces history and replays history. Just flood that board.
Actually, I think that would be fine, yeah.
Like-
like, just get some value, get some creatures.
Because I'm willing to bet Kirby cut the cast downs out of his deck for this game.
Oh, yeah, for sure. Like,
There's no reason to keep those.
even knowing your opponent might do this, I don't think that you leave in your cast downs.
Because you can always masterminds Inquisition.
Oh, Mastermind's acquisition.
Cameron has influenced me way too much.
It's fine. Cameron's a good influence, I think.
All right. We got some 4/3s.
His men are now the big men.
But are they men?
Oh, man.
All right. I know we were talking about it earlier.
Yeah.
But of the anime walkers, which is your favorite? Purely off the art. Don't consider the power level of the card.
I'm not. I was actually
Purely
thinking...
art.
I think it's actually the Liliana one. I like how the art style they went with and the artist they had who did it.
So I like Soren,
Soren's really good.
which it's weird to say because like The art style is very JoJo-esque,
Mhm.
and I literally have not watched more than like 4 episodes of JoJo
I've
total. Like,
I've
The
watched
first
the
season.
entire series. No, I like his art and Nahiri's art a lot more after realizing they both go together.
hmm
And that's something I really enjoy.
are any of the artists they used like official like anime or manga artists?
I don't know.
All that I looked up, they were just like freelancers.
All I know is the Liliana one did some work for one of the Final Fantasy games.
Okay.
Like did a cover art for one of them.
Gotcha.
But I don't know about any of the others.
I know that the chick who did Soren has done Hearthstone art, I believe.
That sounds.
She did
about
one
right.
of the. I think she did a Doomsday card,
Okay.
or at least like if she didn't do it, she did like an extended like portrait of it or something. I don't know.
Sure.
But it looked official.
All right. So gonna see Small Teferi.
Baby Teff. Can we call him Baby Teffs? Baby Tough. Tibble. The Tibble is so good.
Yeah. The Ashok also looks really good. Like I think that for me,
The smoke going over the name
mm-hmm.
is a really nice touch.
I think Liliana, Nikiri, and Nissa are my favorites.
Yep.
But
Thief of Sanity getting absorbed. That's not good.
yeah, Kirby needed that Thief of Sanity.
Yeah, Kirby running into counterspells this late is really going to push him out.
Now, admittedly, Chad hasn't assembled full control at this point.
Mm-mm.
Like, if Kirby lands a Nicol Bolas or something else at this point, he could still easily win the game.
Oh, there's a dead Planeswalker. Maybe.
No, did Chad draw a counterspell, and is he going to use it? If he did.
I think it's worth cracking the memorial here if he's got it.
Okay, he's going to...
Okay, this is fine too.
He's going to discard... He had a planes. Yeah.
Picked up 2 more planes. Pretty sure.
That
Oh, no, okay.
Nope, a
that
plane's
kind of
on a
looks like a
Doberman.
planes, though.
It does kind of look like a planes. That's really bad for Kirby.
Oh, yeah.
Because, like, even though he's not getting card advantage off this Teferi, just the little chips of 2 damage here and there for every turn that Kirby's not able to answer the board. It hurts a lot.
I'm going to touch my tokens. I'm going to touch my Augur Bolus. I'll take 2.
This is the game we play now.
Yep.
Oh,
here we
ooh,
go.
Boy.
Here we go. All right. This is like one of the... So, I told Kirby about the whole thing with betting Josh. Oh. Picks up Bedevil. Oh, man.
No, technically speaking, Chad could have just gone for it that turn if he wanted to. Just play it, bounce it, play
I
it.
think he should have. Like, Teferi isn't enough loyalty, but...
Yeah.
She's going to hit a token.
Okay. No concern.
Now I really hope Chad does it and makes Kirby, like, regret it.
That would be really funny. Like, if we see that play, I would be excited.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so 1 token is dead.
But I understand going after token. Like,
Yeah. At this point, your life total actually matters a little bit more. And it looks like Chad's setting up to blow up the Augur of Bolas with this land.
I think... I don't know if I'd worry about it. Sorry for yawning.
You good.
Should have bounced it. Well, he should have attacked first. So I don't like blowing up the blast zone here.
Mm-hmm.
Because next turn, if he doesn't block now, he will block.
Yes. And then next turn you will have lethal.
Yeah, and then you get to keep your blast zone in case like he top decks a Nicol Bolas. In which case he is not. We are going to game 3.
Okay. Going game 2 is actually a pretty reasonable amount of time here.
Yep.
Seeing that aggressive plan that we were talking about being pretty good for Chad here.
Yes. Oh, so I told Kirby about betting, to get back to the thing I was talking about betting Josh to put Sarkin in his deck
Okay.
for that you were playing,
Mm-hmm.
to turn all of his Nicol Boluses back into dragons for the flavor win.
Mm-hmm.
And then I went one step further. I don't remember it. But yeah.
And so, Josh handed me the deck that I used tonight. He had the most interesting assortment of things. So he had like some black and white proxies in there for cards.
He he told you about them. Well, he told me to tell you about them.
Yeah. He told me about them, and that was fine. I don't mind the black and white proxies. But he had 2 black and white proxies for the double spell cantrip Discovery Dispersal, and then he just had a piece of paper that said Discovery on another thing.
He lied.
What?
I literally told him, I was like, are any of the proxy, or I asked him, are any of the proxies written? He said, no, but they're black and white. So he lied. How dare him?
He also had 2, whichever Planeswalker is on the side, Narset. He had 2 Narsets that just said Narset, 1 blue, and then -2. That's it. I was like, Josh, my boy.
It's alright, it's alright. We love you, Josh, but you gotta get it together.
I think everyone loves Josh, but it's also just like, he's just
I wish he was here.
We all wish he was here, but he's playing his Star Wars.
I'm jealous. I want to play Star Wars stuff.
Apparently, like, Michael hates when they call it D&D, but it's basically Star Wars D&D.
I mean, you just call it tabletop.
Yeah, tabletop also works. Because at this point, there are just so many tabletop games. I haven't done one, but I'm starting in a thing with some people.
What system are you guys using?
Just regular D&D. I'm not for sure which version, though.
When you say regular, are they just using, like, 5?
I don't know.
Okay.
All I know is that the system is D&D. I just don't know which version.
Probably 5, then.
Yeah.
4 is terrible.
Okay.
3 is, like, a revised... basically a revised version of the system.
Okay.
And then 5e is when you get homebrew stuff. That's what I played in college.
Okay.
I literally... The first character I made... Because the first time I played, like... the DM's brother made the character for me.
Mm-hmm.
It was like a half... That character was like a half... He min-maxed it. It was half ogre, half orc,
Okay.
warblade.
Okay.
Because of his size and his abilities, he could dual wield long swords with no penalty,
Nice.
and I could dual wield great swords with a -2
Okay.
penalty, which was like nothing.
Mm-hmm.
And that was broken. So then when I made my own character for the next campaign we did, I made like a fire sorcerer.
Mm-hmm.
And then because of like the homebrew stuff, we ended up going to like some desert plane.
Mm-hmm.
And I learned to become a sandbender. So I became Gara.
Heck yeah.
And then I dropped 5 tons of sand on a boss, and the DM was like, alright, you're not allowed to use this character anymore.
Nice.
I did Gara things.
All right.
To get back to the game.
In the meanwhile, some lands were played, and now we're seeing a Thief of Sanity. Chad looking at that Dovin Veto like, you're not doing what I need you to.
I'm playing creatures now, too.
Thief of Sanity is a messed up card. Like... Alright.
So the first time I got hit by it, I didn't realize that my opponent got to not only look at multiple cards, but also just put them on my graveyard.
Uh-huh.
So I was like, oh, this is bad. And I had Muldrotha in my hand, because I was playing Vanifar.
Okay.
I had Muldrotha in hand, and like 8 mana, and, or 9 mana, because I like Mana Dork and a bunch of lands. They put a Chupacabra in my graveyard.
Oof.
And like they were empty-handed, they hit me with Thief. So I just play Muldrotha, play Chupacabra, eat their thing. I give up.
Yep.
It was on Arena.
Mm-hmm.
It was a lot of fun.
Sounds like a
Kind of
blast.
weird saying that because I hadn't run into Thief beforehand.
Mm.
Like I just dodged it, just played nothing but mono red.
I had a game where opponent had it was a total of 4. They had 8 cards in library. 4 of them were Nexus of Fate, and
Sorry, I choked. Might have had aneurysm. What happened?
so my opponent had a total of 7 or 8 cards in library at him with a Thief of Sanity. They had 4 Nexus of Fates in their deck, and if I hit any of the Nexus of Fates, I won the game. Instead, I missed the Nexus of Fates and left them with only Nexus of Fate in their library. So they just Nexus of Fate looped.
Good job.
I was upset.
I would be too. Chad just lost 2 cards in hand to back-to-back Thought Erasure.
Hey, that's really good.
Yeah.
Now, Chad is going to get in for a little bit of damage with his History Benalia,
But so is Kirby.
but Kirby's getting card advantage and damage. Well, that not so much.
Not so much now. Yeah. You can only play non-land cards, right?
Uh-huh. That is the weakness of the card, but the card is still absurdly strong.
Search gonna be the play for turn, and then pass, leaving up what appears to be Bedevil mana.
Yep.
Yep.
Kirby not messing around here, just trying to quickly go for the throat. And Chad just going to counter that, search for Skanta.
Yep. Yep. Kirby's making a really good bluff here with leaving Chad with the Teferi and just leaving open 3 mana constantly to try and bait him to play Teferi. Try and make it look like he's holding up a devil and just untap Nicol Bolas.
Yeah.
I hope that thump came across the microphone. I'm sure it did. I know the feel, like, because I played Apex Predator when it was in Standard, because I just wanted to play the card, and I know
Yeah. Why wouldn't you?
It is a great feeling to just be like, I'm playing my Planeswalker. My Planeswalker eats your Planeswalker.
Yeah.
Great.
Chad is in a really rough spot.
Yeah. Oh, he took an Absorb? That's even... Okay.
That's disgusting.
I didn't even see that.
Yeah. I think it was off the first hit. So now he gets to hit again. He can play a Nicol Bolas. Like, he is getting the card advantage.
He took a Cruelty. Ooh.
There's a History Benalia.
I don't even know if you take it. I mean, I guess it speeds up the clock, but...
I don't think you need it.
You definitely don't need the Teo.
Yeah.
Although Chad can't get through walls. He doesn't need to target Kirby, though.
Yeah.
I kind of like just taking the seal away.
Okay.
Because if Chad can land a Gideon and or a Lyra.
Yeah, so it is an insurance policy.
Yeah.
Looks like Kirby's instead going to go with History Benalia, though.
Helps him close out the game a little faster.
Focusing less on the on the future and more on just the right now.
I think it's fine. I think we're about to see the old Nicol Bolas.
Yeah. Now, Kirby is an absurdly strong spot right now. I don't know how Chad wins, honestly. Looking at his hand. You want to swing 4 at your Nicol Bolas. You're going to block 2. He's going to go to 3. I'm passing with nothing else. Opponent has a Nicol Bolas active, a Thief of Sanity, and a blocker for one of your 2/2s.
And he has the Creature Bolus in hand as well.
Yeah.
This might be...
Kirby... So, point 1, Kirby's deck's been showing really powerful things it can do.
Oh, yeah. Did he build this?
I think so. Point 2, Kirby's been playing this extraordinarily well as well. Like, his patience and his lines have been very on point.
Honestly, land in hand, attack, look one more time, then just play the history. Start closing this game out.
Oh, and even if he...
Picks up a draw 2 spell. Although, I could see keeping that.
You probably don't want to play that unless you absolutely need to, since your opponent can then get value off the jump start.
Yep.
But it is nice that if you need to draw more cards, you have access to it.
Yep. Not being a counterspell deck, I can see him just... With the Nicol Bolas already play.
Yeah.
I can see her just leaving it alone.
Yeah. And right now, like, Kirby can just keep putting things on the board. It doesn't matter because this Nicol Bolas is giving card advantage and card disadvantage.
Yep.
And Thief of Sanity is going to be leaving over things, even if somehow Chad removes everything that's in play.
Yep. It's a big Teferi. So, that play seems fine. Given the clock, I would have liked seeing him bounce the history so it goes back on top of his deck.
That's reasonable.
But that doesn't do anything against his Thief. I mean, granted, the other play doesn't either, but Kirby has another.
I mean...
Kirby's hand at this point just makes, unfortunately for Chad, just whichever decision he does at this point, he has another option. It's not a good spot.
Also, to answer Cage Tiki, yes, seeing as the new set has not came out yet, we are using proxies for all the new cards.
Yep. We do try to make the effort to get color proxies.
To make it look better.
That and a little more recognizable for the stream.
Going back to this game, though, jeez. I don't know. There's not too much to say about this game aside from the fact that Chad is behind.
Yeah, I'm not sure there's a draw at this point that gets him out of this.
And
I guess a Cleansing Nova is a thing.
So Kirby even picking up a Sorcerer Spyglass here. So even if Chad manages this ticket to Fairy at any point and somehow stabilize the board, Kirby can shut it off.
Yep.
Like,
looks like an opt. He's got to find that Nova now.
and if he didn't leave the Nova in, then he really has nothing to do.
He could have taken some out.
Yeah.
What deck looks strongest? Honestly, I don't know if there's necessarily a strongest deck currently. Alright, he made the Teferi play to bounce the history.
Okay.
This buys him another turn. What would you say? I think really just any of these, like...
So...
Red-Black has so much powerful cards that have options.
Mm-hmm.
So I'd say anything that has Red-Black at its core.
So I think that out of the decks we had tonight specifically, I'm liking Kirby's deck the most, but I don't know that's necessarily strongest.
Mm-hmm.
I think there's honestly a chance that the Heroic style shell might be one of the stronger decks we have, or Chad's shell. But going forward, I think that Blue-White Control and what you said, Red-Black has a lot of tools. Like, Blue-White X looks really good. Red-Black X looks really good. I'm really hoping Grixis is good, because I love Grixis.
Yeah. So that's going to be 2-1 for Kirby.
Mm-hmm.
Chad conceding on the Masterminds for sideboard.
All right, now, real quick, we're just going to... So, final round is Kirby versus Sebastian. I'm going to do a quick little reminder for people who may be showing up late as to what Sebastian's deck was. Let me find that.
Yeah, I'm not actually sure that a lot of people were here at that point.
Yeah. All right, so Sebastian's deck. He's playing Red-White Heroic.
Go ahead, I'm going to pull up one card for it.
Okay. So I played it against this deck in the first round, and I got bullied. So this deck is just playing a bunch of 1 mana pump and protection spells, a total of 12 that cost 1 mana to be precise, to go with your Feather, like is pictured here, your 10th District Legionnaire, your Swiftblade Vindicator, and your Dreadhorde Arcanist.
Did his deck thing... No, it didn't. Wait. That looks different from the one on our screen. It's moved.
Huh.
I was looking in one spot and it's in the other.
That's weird.
Never had that happen before.
Yeah, that's really weird. As long as it's the same list, though, we're fine.
It looks to be the same.
Okay.
I just... where the integrities are... Basically, like, some of the 4s switched around.
Yeah.
There's some interesting things. I personally think that the Heroic deck is a bit too brittle because of how powerful the removal spells are. However, with Feather, you have that repetitive use of cards like Sheltering Light, which is right there in the middle of his deck list.
I'll click on that in a second.
Yeah. You have some stability in terms of like being able to protect your creatures over the course of different turns. Something that Mono White can do fairly well with Adonto Vanguard. Like, that's usually the premier 2-drop that they're going to lead with because they can keep it alive.
Yes.
And make their opponent have to, like... It's give and take. Like, your opponent's going to try and kill it, but you're going to pay life to protect it. And, like, depending on what you're playing against, that can either be good or bad. The real interaction that I like is the fact that they literally just gave Boros Battlewise Hoplite from Theros block, but it has haste.
Yes. And one thing I'll say is, so there was a point in one of the games I was playing Sebastian, I think it was off camera, but he looks at me and he's on the play, and I passed the turn tapped out on turn 3. And he's just like, so I can deal 14 damage to you. But I don't want to do that because like then I don't have anything else going on. I'm just like, you can do what to me on turn 3? Please don't.
That requires like pretty specific cards.
Swiftblade Vindicator and a few pump spells. Swiftblade Vindicator, dumb card.
Yep.
But Anyways,
Not new to standard either.
not new to standard.
It's been around for 2 sets.
Been around for 2 sets. It has a lot of keywords.
Yes.
Double Strike, Vigilance, Trample. No, I think that honestly, after thinking out more, your point is correct. This deck is probably too brittle to stand the test of time, but it looks like a fun deck. Feather is a very strong card.
Yeah, I think, like, it's weird thinking about, because Sebastian did say when he was talking to someone on Reddit before, like, you realize that your Boros Heroic deck has only one copy of the Angel. And I actually think it's correct. I don't think you want to always be finding that card. You want your 2-drops that are more aggressive,
Yes.
that, like, get better as you put things on them, whereas, like, the Angel's a 3-mana 3/4 flyer with some text that, like, makes some of your cards better, not necessarily kills your opponent.
I agree.
So
Um,
I think once people figure out how to build that deck, I can see it being near the top, if not on the top.
okay.
But
I
think
can
this
see that.
build is fairly brittle to heavy removal, which we're gonna see. So
We'll see that now.
Yep.
You guys are good whenever. All right. It looks like Sebastian did not win the die roll either.
Nope. I really wanted to sneak that little balloon in there.
Unfortunate.
Yeah. Thought Rage, you're gonna start out.
All right. So we're gonna see 2 lands, few pump spells,
Solid hand.
solid hand. Though if Kirby just takes the 2-drop here, Sebastian's not really doing anything.
Nope. That is the problem.
Yeah. So Sebastian has 2 pumps and protection, and then you just have a 4-drop.
And then we draw the 2-drop off the top. Just kidding, it's a Plains. Passes back to Kirby. That's another thing. So, this red-white heroic deck, and the red-white heroic deck reminds me of the mono-red decks from the Theros format, where they were like almost a Sly build,
Yes.
if not just literally mono-red Sly. But the blue-white and Bant builds were much more resilient. Didn't they have 2 different hexproof spells? And then you
I believe so.
well, technically a third one in Dromoka's command, because you could prevent the red removal spells
Yes.
entirely. And then also just like, if it wasn't going to kill your creature, you just put a counter on it and do one of the other modes, like fight or, what was it, sack enchantment?
Yes.
So, like, it's hard to say, really, where this deck's going to end up. Because the best heroic creatures are glued to red-white. They're both a red and a white cost. So unless you're either adding a third color or really focusing on just protecting, you can really lose out to some of these decks.
And
Kirby binning a cast down.
Kirby does not care at this point. And at this point, so he can fairly safely assume Sebastian has no creatures in play in hand except for this Aurelia. So he might be just trying to dig for a win condition.
That or something to be able to answer the Aurelia. So I'm not sure that he has one. Although, this seems pretty good against the deck trying to empty its hand.
Yep, so...
Looks like a good win condition to me.
Gonna play this down tick. Sebastian's gonna go and discard his removal spell that requires a creature.
Yep. Sebastian gonna pick up.
Another land. He's having a bad time.
Yeah. Cleaning up white for shelter.
Yep. So his hand is Sacred Foundry, 2 of the +2/+1 haste cards.
Yeah. Unfortunately, shelter does not save you from sacrifice. Goodbye, Aurelia.
Ooh. That feels incredibly bad for Sebastian here.
I actually wouldn't have minded him firing off one of the sprints just to try and scry and find something.
That is reasonable. Looks like he's another land. Oh man.
I felt this pain. I really did. I have 21 lands in my deck, and I saw over half of them in like 10 turns.
Yeah,
All
that
those
feels
games.
incredibly bad.
And then I drew Theater, and I was like, yeah!
Theater did so much work for you tonight.
I told Joe about 11 times he needs to be playing that card main deck, at least 2. Because, like, his whole thing was, like, his curve topped at 4, so if he played Theater on 3 and drew nothing, you could just hit your opponent. Or Planeswalker. It's really good at finishing off Teferis.
Alright, here's the Nicobolus. I don't think Sebastian's long for this world.
No, if this isn't a threat, I think we just pack it up. Looks like it's a Defiant Strike. We'll go ahead and put that on one of your duders.
Sure.
He thought it was a kill spell. He's about to pick up his card.
He drew another land.
Sebastian, his deck's
Bruh.
looking pretty anemic right now.
Kirby gonna flip that ass Kanta.
So Kirby has a Flip Discanta, a Nicol Bolas,
Drew another auger.
drew another Augur. He also has the entered the God Eternals in hand.
Now Bedevil. And now we're gonna find another card.
Jeez.
His deck probably will not miss.
There's a Thought Erasure.
Oh my god.
Sure, just cast it.
Just fire it.
Just destroy Sebastian's
it.
everything.
Is this like... Do you think this is like therapy for Kirby?
A little bit. He's just like, I'm going to do so much. Sure. God.
What card you targeting? Alright, I want to cast it. That's not how this works, Sebastian. Shut up, nerd. Threat. Is it another Defiant Strike or another
Yeah,
Plains?
it's a Defiant Strike.
That's a threat. I'm pretty sure it's Legionnaire.
Okay.
We might do a thing.
I cast it.
It might be dead.
I'm going to attack.
Kirby, just let him do damage. Oh my god. Let him do some damage. No. Enter the God Eternals.
Oh, man.
Oh no. I'm sorry, Sebastian.
Sebastian just like, yeah, no, this is why I don't play Magic.
More importantly, not that he doesn't play Magic. This is why he's not ever allowed to play something that's not Blue-White X.
He's really good at Blue X. He's also
Yeah.
really good at taxes, honestly.
Yes, he is good at Tactics Pilot.
Alright, Kirby, you have Cry of the Carnariums, Moment of Cravings, Ritual of Suits.
His deck is pretty much designed to beat this.
Oh, yeah.
Like-
Yeah.
You could take out a removal spell to put in more removal spell.
I think that you're not really trying to play the Masterminds Acquisition game, or
I think you can take those out. And
Take those out.
probably Shadow Mage.
take the Shadow Mages out.
Yeah, just
Sure. Yeah, I actually agree. And then just bring in, like, Ritual Suit, Cry of the Carnarium, and, like, a Moment of Craving, and bam,
yep.
look at my stuff.
He might not even sideboard. I kind of want to look.
Yes.
Okay, he's sideboarding. All right, he is looking at some cards though. Let's take a look at Sebastian's. Let's see what he's got for this kind of matchup.
Hit that transition button. Alright, what does he have?
Experimental Frenzy, because unlike his matchup with you, Kirby literally cannot get that off the table.
Yes.
You apparently could, and we didn't realize it until you did it.
That
So-
play was disgusting.
That
but,
card is so good.
Yeah.
It has won me some drafts.
So Experimental Frenzy, probably the Mountain. If you bring in the Experimental Frenzy, you have to imagine that's where it's there
I don't
for.
know. Game 1 he saw like 8 lands.
Yeah.
I don't know if he needs it.
That's fair. Alright, and you just cut down on some pump spells or Aurelias.
I could see him bringing in Honor Guards just to try and trip Kirby up
Sure.
on the card advantage train with his Augurs and his Nicol Bolas.
Sure.
What does Healing Grace do? Is that just like a...
I feel like it's a life gain spell.
I think it's a pump life gain thing.
That sounds like what that card does. It's some random common from a set. The next 3 damage will be dealt to
Prevent.
target creature this turn. Okay, yeah.
So prevent 3 to a creature and you gain 3. Like... Maybe.
Maybe.
Some of his removal is damage based, so...
I-
I don't know if the life gain's worth it, though.
I think that you really just want the Experimental Frenzies.
True.
Call it a day. And then just cut down on, like, your Reckless Rages, maybe.
I don't know. They're good at getting blockers out of the way, but at the same time, it kills half your creatures.
They
yeah,
do
you're probably
conveniently deal with the Nicol Bolas, and that's the only reason I
And
consider
the
it.
augurs.
And the Augur's less so, but they're, like, less impactful, but killing the Nicol Bolas is a huge deal. And killing the Augurs can matter. But
I actually think killing the augurs is kind of important, considering that
they block a
if
lot
he
of your-
has turns like where he said against you, he can do 13 damage on turn 2.
Yeah, that's fair.
Like an augur prevents that.
It does prevent that. So, alright. I like...
Well, it
prevent some of it.
prevents it if it's a legionnaire.
Yeah.
Otherwise, it just soaks 3.
Alright,
I think you trim 1.
yeah, that's fine. I don't know, we'll let them figure out. Oh, Sebastian's still sideboarding. We're gonna watch him. Look at him go.
Oh,
Look at him. He's sideboarding.
Turtles made it to the water.
They have blue and red.
Looks like he took out the
sleeves.
rages.
Look at him go.
Yeah, it looks like he took out at least 2 rages.
Okay, that's fine.
I don't think it's a bad call either way. Like I personally see the reasoning behind either one. I
Yeah.
think being on the play.
I think
Definitely
cutting
worth
them on the
taking
play,
out.
yeah,
Yeah.
for sure. Actually, I should probably tell them. You guys are good whenever.
Kirby just picking his deck back up again. Like, did I need to do this? He just take out a ritual?
He's like, is a ritual really necessary?
Do I care? I
Like,
think I can just kill everything.
he took out Thought Rager.
He's
Okay.
on the draw. That
Sure,
makes sense.
that's fine. You're being more proactive here.
He might be bringing in like Moment of Craving or something. Not gonna let us see that though.
Also,
They are, yeah. There's 2 of them.
Okay.
So, I tried to make as many piles during sideboarding as I could. I don't know if you guys caught that.
I didn't, and honestly, I forgot to do that when I was sideboarding, which letting Josh down. To answer your question, yes, this is actually gonna be the first pre-release I'm hitting up in a while.
And the question before that, most of us own the cards that are currently legal, or
Yeah.
or have access to them through like all of our collections. So with what we have, we try to play with real cards because, after all, at the end of the day, like we do play competitive Magic like in events. So
Yeah, majority of the people in this group are grinders or at least just play Magic to play Magic.
to a regular degree, yeah.
Yeah. Here's the new man, the new strong man, the flashback
This
man.
card seems so good.
Yeah.
I was actually talking with McCurry about playing it in Vintage.
Card seems really interesting.
We deduced it to just playing mono red burn.
That's fair. Sorry, I was laughing at Sebastian's hand.
Oh no.
It was all lands and now a pump spell.
Yeet.
Oh,
Eat 'em.
Man.
Yeah. Get him.
Okay.
Target the Legionnaire. Get the
Yep.
counter.
Then he gets a flash it back.
Yeet. Do it again. This is so gross.
It was actually really strong.
That's +2, +4, +8, 9 damage on
Yeah.
turn 3. You just made me discard my thing for when I'm out of cards. Yeah, Kirby, he did it.
All land.
He's just not scrying because he's forgetting to scry. Okay, it's a non-land card.
Okay. Sure.
We
Kir-
keep.
Kirby taking some damage. And a Cry of the Carnarium doesn't even do anything here.
Yep, it's a little too late.
But Sebastian is working with nothing in hand, but I believe he also kept on top with the...
Kirby does have double Rampage though, so he can set up for next turn to just be like sack both your creatures.
Yeah.
It doesn't kill either one of them though,
It does not.
so we'll keep that in the pocket probably.
It's insurance for later on.
Yep.
What did
What did
Sebastian...
he keep? It's a red card.
I can't honestly tell what he kept.
Is it his one of left rage or whatever? Despite all my rage. Oh no, it's a frenzy.
It's Frenzy.
Oh, that was such a good pickup. Well,
That is about what you want to see here. Now, you mentioned that he has the double Fury play.
yep.
Yep, do that. Yep, do that. Alright, so now Sebastian is literally living off the top of his deck. That's fine. Play that? Sure.
Oh man, Kirby's about to get mono-redded.
I have to wonder what's on top that Sebastian's leaving.
Well, it's not a land.
It's not a land.
It's probably a protection spell or a rage.
Okay. If it's a protection spell, this is going to be a huge game.
It is the only target. Damn.
So what did he leave on top? Ooh.
Well, I mean, he cleared out. That would have been a stalled thing. I mean, he would have been able to scry and see Defiant Strike, but I think actually getting this milled is good.
Yeah. That's unfortunate for Sebastian here that he saw a 4-drop that early on with the Experimental Frenzy.
So here's where I actually don't like Experimental Frenzy.
Mm-hmm.
In this style deck, compared to Mono Red, You're not casting your spells unless you have a creature to target.
Yes.
Also,
So,
Defiance, any of them that draw you cards are even worse.
Yeah, so basically, since this is a deck that has more dead draws if nothing's in play, whereas Mono Red Burn, everything you can cast everything, you have a low land count, so it's like you get insane value off of it. But this deck has more pockets where you just can't get further. So actually, I see your point, and I actually think that's a pretty good thing to bring up.
Yep. Granted, I still think it deserves the slot in the sideboard
Mm-hmm.
because, for example, against like blue-white, like if he was playing against Chad doesn't have the like just neutral removal package that Kirby has.
Yes.
And now we can lead into hopefully busted things like this, where it's just like, here's my 2/2 haster, spell. The problem is that he has to. Ooh, that's not bad. Now he has protection from the Edict spell, but Kirby has Bedevil, and a Moment's Craving. So if Sebastian's probably getting low enough on cards or on mana that Kirby's probably just gonna fire this off.
Yeah, and like even if he gets a little punish for it, he's probably fine.
I do think you lead on Bedevil. I think this is correct. Because if you want one of them to resolve, you want the Moment's Craving to resolve. Whereas if you Moment's Craving first, you target, and then you get the protection spell. Like, I think this is the safer one. Okay, Defiant Strike triggers.
Sure.
In response, Moment's Craving. Quick, look at the top of your deck. You have priority forever. It's like he heard me.
Alright, so he sees the top card of his deck.
Okay, now we're going to get got.
Well,
Or not.
no,
Kirby
because
opted
he let
to not moments.
He let the +1/+1 counter trigger resolve. Kirby didn't go for the Moment of Craving because Sebastian would have, like the creature was still dying, so he didn't go for the Moment of Craving because he didn't want to get 2-for-1. And yeah,
That's fair.
the Search for Riscant is flipping though.
I wouldn't be surprised to see Sebastian nuke the Experimental Frenzy here in a bit.
Yeah, he's starting to get enough cards in hand where blowing up is worth it.
I think he's drawn 2 pump spells, and I think he also picked up another experiment, so like he can afford to just blow it up and have another.
Mm-hmm.
So I think he's 3. But
Okay.
why stop when you can just keep going?
Here's my pump spell. I'm gonna scroll that to the bottom. Alright. What do I got? Sure.
Why did he draw that? Was that upkeep?
It was upkeep.
Okay.
Play a land? Sure. Yeah. This is what we're doing now.
Sebastian's just thinking, I have a full grip now. Could just get rid of it.
Right.
Unfortunately, this card doesn't have trample, so
Yeah. He's gonna block, then Moment of Craving it. Sebastian flicking cards in his hand. Look at the top card of his library. This is good. I don't know.
I think he could blow up Experiment here, because if he targets one more time, he gets it out of range of dying.
Mm-hmm.
Because he has a sprint, so it's +2/+1, plus the 1/1 counter.
I think if it means saving his one creature he has left, then he should do it.
Well, saving his threat
Yeah.
as opposed to like if he had just that creature out, I think you would be fine with just having a trade.
Mm-hmm.
But he has both sprint and sheltering late, so he's safe. Kirby's basically out of cards at this point.
Gonna make this creature a lot bigger. It's gonna survive.
So it's a 6/5 now after the Moment's Craving.
And
Sebastian really has turned this one around.
he's trying real hard. It's not completely out of it yet. He only has
Did
2
Kirby gain
creatures.
his 2?
Yes.
Okay.
Cannot grab a Nicol Bolas, but he can, however, grab
He
that.
can grab this thing that can go get him.
A board wipe. Though a board wipe does play into the indestructible spell.
Mm-hmm.
Kirby in a tricky spot.
Honestly, if that guard wasn't there, you could just go get cruelty.
Mm-hmm.
Changing his mana real quick, so he has 2 of everything.
Oh,
What does he get here?
I don't know.
Let's take a look. Yep. Hmm. I think his out is getting a ritual.
I'm just hoping.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I think that's the only thing he can do here. We're going to cast it. Sebastian, do you have the protection?
It's right in the front of his hand.
Nope, he does.
Yeet.
Alright, so now his man is up to 7 power, and
With the cards he has in hand, I believe that is lethal.
yep, so Sebastian going to bring this game 3. I'm honestly kind of surprised.
Not sure what he's looking at. Might be another creature.
Whatever it was, wasn't good enough. Untap. Draw.
Draw. Pump. Another guard. I actually like just playing Experiment here if you don't have anything.
I think he might not have anything.
Although if you're playing Experiment, you don't play the land. Because now you're going to look at a land on the top of your deck. Oh, no. Ooh. All right.
Or look at Tajik, that's exactly lethal.
Or look at this 3-power creature with haste. Yeah, the Frenzy was crazy.
Alright, well, Frenzy got him there in the end. Both of his Frenzies, in fact.
Not to change topic. Another card Joe should have been playing in his deck.
Widespread Brutality.
Oh, yeah. His sideboard should have like 2 or 3 of those, and then
Mhm.
he should have had some amount of theaters in his main deck.
The card's interesting.
I actually almost ran it on the side of mine, because if like I get into a board stall, I can just be like, well, I have like 2 Celebrants out, and, like 9 creatures. Just play this and 18 you.
Yeah.
Because yeah, that will kill every creature in my deck
It's pretty good.
except for Teysa. And a Butcher if it's got enough counters, but
Mm-hmm.
all right, let's see game 3.
Up there. Shuffling away. Alright. So, Sebastian got me on the draw here. Not what he's looking for, but he should still be fine.
I think Kirby's gonna keep his.
Uh,
I see,
See a Murmuring Mystic and I think a Davriel.
and it's a Nicol Bolas creature in the back of his deck.
Anyone running an Amass deck? No one's running a deck built strictly around Amass, but there are enough cards that have the keyword Amass being played.
3 of us have, or no, you and Kirby both had, yeah, 3 of us. You and Kirby both have a card that has a mass in it.
Mm-hmm.
You had the 2-drop enchantment. Kirby had Enter the Eternals.
Yep.
And then Joe was also playing the 2-mana enchantment.
Yep. So we got to see 2 of the enchantment and then enter the God Eternals.
Yep. That card beat me
Yeah.
because my dumbass sided out all of my Mortifies for
Oof.
game 2, knowing that he was going to be bringing in that stupid enchantment. Actually, I didn't know that. I didn't think he would actually bring it in.
Yeah, it's one of those.
Seemed against the game plan.
Mm-hmm. I think that it's reasonable not to expect it.
They're all good cards though. Like all of the rare and mythics that are Amass cards, they all
Mhm.
seem very good. Oh, Kirby also has Commence the Endgame. That one's also an Amass card.
Commence the Endgame is probably my favorite Amass card.
It just has potential to just be like, your end step and make a 7/7.
Like,
Because I almost did something similar.
I think even just like putting it as a 5/5 or a 6/6, like that's a really good value.
Yep. Something I wish I had actually brought tonight, considering I didn't know Joe was also playing a Mardu deck.
Mm-hmm.
And 2 Grixis decks, was the blue-green Ascendancy deck I was working on. That the kind of like Wombo combo was end step Awaken the Vitugazi
Mm-hmm.
with a Hadana's Climb in play.
Oh, yeah. I remember
just
people
20
talking
your
about the
opponent.
deck. Yeah.
Yeah, that was me talking about the deck to just anyone who would listen because I was so excited. I was like, green instant spell to kill you. Nice Nexus, idiot. You're dead. But I'll probably play that for the next stream because we're going to be doing Standard again next week, I think, right?
Most likely so.
That'll let Josh get in here as well since he doesn't have tabletop next week, I think.
I believe he said he did not. I think it might be like a bi-weekly thing.
Yeah, something of that nature.
So Kirby managed to take the Experimental Frenzy from Sebastian's hand, leaving with really nothing much. Sebastian going in and attacking for 2. Kirby says, I'll block with Augur. Do you want to use Pump Spell now?
And the answer is yes. I'll use the one that replaces itself.
And now I'm going to play an Honor Guard. Yep. That Murmuring Mystic is going to be a huge issue, though.
This is also really funny because Kirby has the creature Nicol Bolas and an Augur in hand, and they both currently will do nothing.
I mean,
How timely.
are we just... Okay, main
Yeah, we're
phase
just
doing
gonna
that.
flash that back.
Sure, discard an Augur.
Yeah.
He just wants it lands at this point, and at this point, it lets Sebastian know that, but it doesn't really matter because you're creating this little pillar.
Well, I mean,
fort
also
thing.
the cards he had in hand didn't do anything. It was
Yeah.
a 4/4 flyer and a 1/3
Yeah,
that didn't fly.
and now next turn he has access to 5 mana. He has a few blockers. Sebastian doesn't have a ton of pressure.
He has the Walker Bolas in hand for next turn with 5 mana.
Yeah,
That should be enough to
to end the game,
not in the game, but
commence
Push-
the end game.
push back. God damn it! Push back against this Boros threat.
All right, so we're gonna see block there, sure. Sebastian just gonna let it fly. Okay, yep.
Yep. No reason to spend resources. He's not threatening your creature. It's like enter the God Eternal's Bedevil. I kind of like enter on the Honor Guard to
Mhm.
unlock the Nicol Bolas in your hand.
Yep.
Yep.
Looks like he agrees.
Because even if it gets countered in the form of like a Sheltering Light, you're still getting that bird.
And
You don't get. I don't think you get the rest of the card because there's one target on the card, and if it gets, it'll
it's fizzled on
fizzle the
resolution.
spell.
Yeah.
Sebastian letting it resolve. I think it would have been worth using because you get to prevent 3 things from happening. But I understand it. You're basically a combo deck trying to win in combat, not necessarily a mid-range deck trying to survive. That and he doesn't know what Kirby's hand is, so
Yeah.
if he knew there was a Nicol Bolas in there, he probably would have protected it.
All right. So. All right, just gonna attack.
We swing, we block.
Kirby has no interest in trying to kill it in combat. He's just like, I got these chump blockers. They're
He's
gonna do just that.
He's also got the kill spell if he really wants to threaten it.
Yep. Luckily, he's just gonna play his creature bolus here. Gonna make Sebastian discard a card. Seems fine.
I think you just keep both shelters, honestly.
Looks like
Often
he.
you keep the sprint instead of one of the shelters. The reason I like keeping the shelters is that this creature gets bigger off of a shelter.
Mm-hmm.
And the indestructible part means that you can swing into these 4 power creature or 4 toughness 4 power creatures
Yes.
pretty freely. Whereas like you play the sprint here, and like sure you get through and you get to, but you both cards scry 1.
Mm-hmm.
One having more power when your opponent's at 22 isn't a huge amount of difference.
Mm-hmm.
So I like the protection better.
Gonna swing in, then we're gonna Moment of Graving it.
Yeah,
This is gonna force a thing from Sebastian.
This is going to force the sprint, I think.
I agree. He can't let this creature die.
Yeah.
Pump that, scry.
Then scry again.
He really just wants another Experimental Frenzy at this point.
Uh-huh. Keeps on top. Must be a frenzy or a creature worth having, I guess.
Yeah.
Is there a reasonable spell that gives double strike to a non-pirate creature?
Not that I know of in Standard.
Because there's just the pirate one, I think.
Yes. Alright,
Uh-oh.
Thought Erasure. Hey,
Fire
that's
it-
really good.
Fire it off. In response, get bedeviled. Scoop up your cards. Yeah, just do it now, Kirby.
Yeah, just bedevil him.
Just do it, then your Nickaball's next turn, and you ain't got nothing left.
Okay, he's gonna let the oh, he's just gonna let resolve, sure. Okay, so he sees it, and then on upkeep, he can just kill it if he wants to.
That's fair.
4, 8.
Yep. No reason to block now. I'll keep my
10.
token back.
Alright, put Sebastian on 3. Upkeep, just kill the thing. No, probably.
No.
Okay, yeah, he did on
Oh,
upkeep.
he dead.
Sebastian looks at Mountain in his hand. Goes, that's unfortunate. Picks up his cards. Alright, so. When it loads. That was alright tonight. We had Grixis Midrange, Boros Heroic, Mardu Burn, Mardu Aristocrats, and Blue White Control tonight. And
I
Grixis
2-0'd
Discard.
once.
You did 2-0. I
Yeah.
think. Were you the only 2-0? No, Kirby.
Kirby also 2-0'd.
Also 2-0'd. So, I think it was.
you picked up a win. Sebastian picked up a win.
Mm-hmm.
Joe did not, and
Joe
Chad
did
did not.
Yeah, unfortunate night for Joe and Chad, but they still showed fine outings for the deck. So if you want to watch this again, shortly after the stream ends, we're going to be playing it on replay, as well as, of course, you can always check back on the VOD. We also do weekly paper streams like this every Tuesday, starting at 7:30. Next week we're going to be bringing more standard for more for the Spark. I
Yep.
forgot the rest of the name
After
of
the
it.
pre-releases happened,
After all the pre-releases, all that stuff.
maybe we'll have a few less proxies.
So whoever came out tonight and enjoyed it, I hope you come out next week. And thanks to all of those who got there tonight.
Yep. Thank you for getting there. See you guys next week.